You gotta
A
love
12-kill win to start off this session, not bad at all. I wasn't expecting that whatsoever, and now I was really disappointed in myself that I started late again. But I had to quickly get into the next game as time was running out. We got 22 points in one game already, hopefully we can get some more in game 2. I died because I wasn't looking at really dumb mistake. As you can see, I tried to replace a wall and edit it, but nothing placed instead and I got demolished. On to the next game. Why are we showing the points here? Nothing changed. Don't remind me of that loss. Time was still ticking, so I had to go for a lazy hot run. I mean, what could potentially go wrong? And we're moving on to game 4. Time to go lazy lake again and actually do it right this time. I had a really good game and I can't believe I didn't kill that guy. But there is no reason to ever get stuck on a loss, so let's move on to game 5 and continue the aggressive gameplay. We are now on a total of 31 points, so we did still progress. And we have more eliminations than placement, which was the point of the video. Game 5 I played too aggressive and paid the price for it with an RPG in my left eye socket. I noticed that I was playing really dumb at Rust because of my limited time, but hey, that's the idea behind the video. Moving on to game 6 with the same amount of points. Can we stop showing this please, for God's sake? Now this game I decided that I had to switch up my landing. Rainbow Rentals it is. Home sweet home. And of course we're starting off with a little Justical classic. Oh God, how did I miss those 2 shots? Let's pretend you never saw that.
Boom. Elder Mech. 77. Boop. 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 Check this chat. Boop. Keegan will be on at 9:30. Check this chat. SMH. Keegan will be on at 9:30. This chat. SMH. How do I turn on? Would it be on audio? Voice chat. On. Push to talk. Play back. Creative. Accept. Play. Play.
Slogan, Mike will get it done.
No.
Let me tell you what it is.
Nobody knows what the heck a Sparky is at this range. This is so broken. I love it. I love it. E-barbs right at the bridge. Nobody knows.
It's an orange juice.
What's up, everyone? We're on my mini account on the level 9 at 2,400 trophies now. Here's what's interesting. Guess what trophies Sparky unlocks at now, because it's a really strong legendary card that no one should have access to. at these trophy ranges. So naturally they move Sparky to 3,300. And what counters Sparky? Electro Dragon and Electro Wizard. Here's what's wonky right now. You can buy Sparky in the shop. Oh my gosh. We're doing it. We just spent 500 gems. Did I use code OJ? Yes, I did. Alright, so we're guaranteed 1 Sparky in this chest. Just like that, we unlock Sparky. Yep, use code OJ. Okay, we're good. The code does expire every 7 days, and it only counts if you actually spend money on the gems, on the season deal. So it doesn't really count on the gems itself. But let's... Heck, you know what?
Maybe this you're actually a homosexual.
Sparky, level 10 on this mini account. It's going to be obnoxiously strong. Broken. I can't believe I just bought a Sparky. Alright, I'm putting a Sparky right in there. What goes good with the Sparky? A Giant does. Ooh, maybe I'll just do a Ram Rider instead of the Giant. I feel like no one can handle a Sparky right now. Let's do Barbarian Barrel. It's a little bit higher level. Level 10 Bandit. Holy moly. Should I do it? I might just have to. Oh, level 10 Skarmy. This account is so stacked. No. This is great. I feel like I need that Princess, but I also feel like I need a Musketeer. I don't need Bandit and Ram Rider. I'm just being greedy here. I do have the Barbarian Barrel, so I'm going to take out the Bandit for that. This is going to be so stacked. Oh my gosh. I bet you I could even rush Ram Rider in the middle, and I'll be good. Is this it? She connected? Just like that? Oh, bats. They don't stop the Ram Rider. Oh my gosh. That's 1,500 damage. Uh-oh. Okay, he used the zap. He used the zap. We're good. We're good. He used the zap. That's a level 10 Skarmy right there. Those skeletons, they're all gonna connect. Did I say all of them? 1, 2, 3. 3 hits. This is great. And I haven't even rotated my Sparky until now. I don't even need the Sparky yet. We're just gonna cycle the minions in the back and we're gonna do a Ram Rider right there. Oh my gosh. This is great. I'm gonna ignore that. I feel like I could do a Sparky like right now, and they'll just be really confused.
These kids are actually homosexuals.
Yep, use that. I heard a Sparky connect. I heard a King victory. Oh man, Sparky is great down here. Oh, I got Sparky first thing. Level 7 Wizard versus level 10 Sparky. Oh, Andre, you are in for a world of hurt. This is great. I'm gonna put my minions in the back just because I want to cycle my Ram Rider right now. I want the Ram Rider to take everything out. You know what? I'm gonna ignore that Hog Rider. That left side is going down so hard. I mean the right side. Is this a 3 crown? Oh my gosh, my Musketeer one-shots the minions. Sparky connects. Oh my gosh. My Musketeer's not even level 10, it's level 9 and it one-shots the minions. Cherry picking on the over-leveled cards in this account is so great. You're not getting any damage in there. I know you're gonna want to do a Hog Rider, that's natural. You just unlocked the Hog Rider recently, or you leveled them up. Feels good to win with him. People don't know how to defend him yet. But the Sparky's gonna mess up your whole dreams, your hopes, your ambitions, everything. Look at that, I'm at 10 elixir right now. You could do Minion Horde, but it's not gonna do much good. Oh, it's the Ram Rider, that's why. Because the Ram Rider is in... Okay. That makes more sense. I feel like that Sparky's gonna... That Sparky did not need to do anything. Take out the Hog Rider, it's melted, disappeared completely. Oh, Sparky down here is great. Supercell, you should not have released it in the shop. You should not have allowed people under 3,300 to unlock it. Especially because you can't get Electro Wizard or Electro... There's no hard to Sparky right now. Oh, he's feisty. Okay, we're gonna do a Princess in the on the bottom right side, just to slow it down a bit. We'll take it easy. I miss Barbarian Barrel. It used to be a little bit farther. Can I save that Musketeer? Yes, I can. Ah, Graham Rider, you were supposed to hop. Level 7 Furnace versus level 10 Ram Rider. This is broken. I unlocked the Ram Rider from the challenge, by the way. And once I unlocked it, I got a second Ram Rider from the gold chest. Level 10 Ram Rider, level 10 Sparky. This account is 2 months old. It should not have these level cards right now. Oh, I love it. Unlocking the Ram Rider from the challenge and getting the log emotes and everything. Yeah. Watch out. Alright, well, we're gonna tank the Sparky real quick. And I don't think he has anything for that. Sparky, oh, nobody knows how to counter Sparky right now. Oh my gosh. The Ram Rider is tanking. Okay, I think he's a little confused, so people haven't seen Sparky in this range yet. They don't know. They literally don't know yet. Oh gosh, we protect that princess from those scary skeletons. Princess finishes it off. This is great. So many legendaries. This feels like my level 1 account, but easier because my level 1 account has level 1 legendaries, and this is, oh my gosh. Flex log skin. Yeah, we'll flex log skin. Alright, why not? Oh, Sasuke. I could have done the Ram Rider. It would have been cute. Ram Rider's not even unlocked with this range yet. Walk at the bridge. Nobody knows what the heck a Sparky is at this range. This is so broken. I love it. I love it. E-Barb's right at the bridge. Nobody knows. Oh my gosh.
Bakugan! The ninja kids are ready to fall, and Paxton has a secret weapon. Introducing Baku Gear. Snap on Baku Gear to power up your Bakugan like never before. No battle will ever be the same.
What the? I literally didn't even see that kid. I was playing really good though, so.
The Barbarian melted. Sparky connected right off the spot. Are we gonna end this game under 1 minute? 1 tower health, okay. That's it, that's how you do it. That's how you end their pain. And this is how you climb trophies. Unlock Ram Rider at this range. I wonder what the criteria is for that. Do you have to be level 8 to see that deal in chest? I bet at level 1 you see a Sparky deal coming to the shop, so that's interesting. I wonder if it'd be at like 100 trophies, 8.
Nice job.
1 as a brand new account, so probably something else. Sparky still level 10 Sparky. I love it. Let's open that real quickie. Oh, we just unlocked the Goblin Gang. That's good. She's already level 10.
I'm gonna take Walker's names.
Broken.
It's your shot, dude. Oh my, this kid's garbage.
Our Jasmine, what that even is. Oh. Furnace in the back. This is great. They don't even know what a Sparky is. Level 7 Furnace versus level 9 Tower. This takes it out completely. I feel like it's one a cycle. Oh, Ram Rider. Ram Rider's my 8th giant right at the bridge like that. Oh my gosh. Alright. Tombstone, Furnace. It's not a 3 crown right off the bat. I need a 3 crown faster. This is so unfair. Not as unfair as when we rigged matchmaking against literally just download a game that day. That was terrible. I don't feel so bad down here, but Sparky down here is obnoxious. You literally can't unlock Electro Wizard or Electro Dragon.
Stop spraying me, you bot.
Alright.
Stop spraying me, you bot.
Archers. Oh, they don't. Oh, but I rotated back to my front. People are just throwing stuff down at the Sparky. They don't know what a Sparky is.
Oh my god, I just get double teamed by this trash can. You just spray your AR. It's so
Sparky just took out the goblins. That shouldn't have happened. I've got 2 Sparkies on the map. Boom, boom. Take the candy from a baby. Oh, look at that, we got our next reward. And we just unlocked the next one.
How's it feel? How's it feel?
We just unlocked the Goblin Gang. Why not? Oh, I could have unlocked Rascals. I done goof. Okay, I unlocked Rascals there. I didn't done goof that hard. We unlocked Goblins. More Goblins. Okay, I'm gonna export to level 7. Got a rock to level 8. Everything should be around level 7, level 8. That's where I'm at. But level 10 Ram, level 10 Sparky. That is just broken. There we go, level 6 Goblin Gang. This deck's not even that good. It's just that it's alright, that's it for the video. If you are under 3,000 trophies, I would recommend buying it.
Oh my, I just get sprayed.
Get 4,000 easy.
I'm literally outplaying these kids. These kids are sitting here with an AR. I hate that.
Hello, I'm taxidermy. I've been practicing law for over 20 years.
This team is so trash.
This
It's
video is
got
brought to you by Circuit.
trash cans and their aim assist. Just spraying like this kid's
Remember when
garbage.
it's over today, we're gonna be playing something on my mini account. We're 6-0 in the bandit drop. It's so easy. You know what? I'm gonna pick things that counter my counter. I'm gonna get these good cards, and we're still going through it. Let's get to the bandit drop challenge. After we get some more frosters.
Huge shout out to Circle K for sponsoring this video. They got some sick promotions going on. They got Flip the Lip, where you got a 1 in 3 chance to win an instant prize, as well as other prizes. You got PS4, you got iPads, you got gaming laptops, and you got Amazon gift cards. So last time, y'all bashed me on my Froster felling technique. This time, I brought in an expert to show you how it's done.
Step 1, fill the cup. Step 2, pop the lid. Step 3, fill the lid. Step 4, drink the froster. Step 5, flip the...
Totally this challenge, so we give it to him. Miner works really well with the skeleton barrel, so I'm not going to take miner. E-barbs are not that good. You never pick E-barbs. Barbarian barrel can counter my skeleton barrel really effectively, so we give him the barbarian barrel. Boom, 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 boom. We rush. We're rushing with a lumberjack.
How should you just
bastard.
place it through?
Okay, we got this. It's working. Down to elixir. Okay. Ah, my E-barbs. They work. You gotta use arrows on that. My E-barb's working. E-barb, push the ice golem. Yes. Oh, beautiful. Ice golem, thank you.
Can you not just... I hate these kids.
But look at that. His
Kid's about to get pickaxe. This is trash.
We gave him a lot of
Think you're
options.
good. I
We
swear.
chose not to give ourselves good synergy, so we're gonna rush. I know his barbarian barrel's out of rotation, so he can't really do much for this right now. Oh, he's got a hunter. Oh. I'm gonna put the zappies in the back. I'm not really worried about that. Yeah!
World success!
If you've ever been to the old classic ballpark, Wrigley Field and Fenway Park, you'll notice how the atmosphere outside is amazing. Once you come inside, though, you can find yourself sitting behind a huge pole. In fact, there are entire websites dedicated to helping you avoid staring into a steel girder for 3 hours while you eat a $12 hot dog. But when it comes to the modern stadium, these poles won't be found anywhere. Clean, unobstructed sightlines for Everyone. Why did using poles at stadiums, which was once the norm, all but disappear? The answer to that and the genius engineering behind that is coming up right after this. This just in. This Clipper from 7.5 on your side. We have a huge Manscaped, the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming, has just announced their new tool to trim down your pubic hair safely and securely. Yes, as the feature item of the Perfect Package Essentials Kit, the Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof trimmer has just been released. Let's shoot it over to me in the bathroom. Yes, Dick, the Lawnmower 3.0 has an improved ergonomic design complete with side grips, uses the same fantastic ceramic non-rusting blade, and is now rated at 7,000 RPM with quiet stroke technology. Wow, Dick, I love quiet stroke technology. Yeah, and that's not all. The new 600 mAh battery extends the life up to 90 minutes, has a new ergonomic charger base, and has a built-in LED. That's incredible, Dick. Tell me where I can get one of these. Well, Dick, you can go to manscaped.com, use the code 5points, and get 20% off your order of the Perfect Package 3.0 and get free shipping. If you sign up as a subscriber, you'll get refill blades and 2 free gifts. Fantastic reporting as always. I'm going to manscaped.com and using code 5points for 20% off right as we speak. That's a wrap. When you go to a modern major sports stadium today, you expect the best experience. And you especially don't want to seat behind a pole. No, in modern times, the worst thing you can experience is other fans or food poisoning. It didn't always used to be like that. In order to understand why they are/were even poles in the stands to begin with, we have to look back at stadiums throughout history. The Coliseum was an amazing feat of engineering. It was made of concrete and didn't have any blocked seats, but unfortunately, like the practice of killing athletes after they lose, this structure wasn't meant to last. Concrete on its own is a great starting point. However, when you look at the Coliseum now, it's crumbling. Earthquakes and elements have taken their toll. Because of the Dark Ages, where stadiums disappeared, this technology was lost. When stadiums began to reappear in the late 19th century and early 20th century, wood was an ideal material as it was strong enough to create bleachers. Of course, the need to pack in more fans and get them closer to the action arose, and the grandstand was invented. The problem was wood was generally weak and, flammable, as many early stadiums met death by immolation, aka a Bill O'Brien. But in 1903, Harvard Stadium used concrete and steel, and in 1909, Forbes Field used that same technology to eventually become a 3-tiered venue. But even with lightweight steel and pourable concrete, poles were still necessary to support the weight of the upper deck and roof. The engineers had the right ingredients, but not the right execution. Let's look at the design for Old Yankee Stadium. An arena needs to support the significant downforce of gravity provided by the people sitting in the stands, especially these days. Looking at the cross-section of Old Yankee Stadium, you can clearly see everything is designed to be vertical. And even with the use of trusses and steel beams, poles are necessary to support the weight of both the fans and the grandstands themselves. Additionally, vertical beams are used to support the roof, which provides shade and shelter, but also block views.
Everything
Yes,
working out
obvious
well
why
now?
the posts are there, but how they were eliminated took genius and a
You know you
combination
have
of many things.
Windows 10 on that computer.
I know. It's just I'm saving up for a graphics card.
I'm pretty sure that graphics card could handle it.
No.
Didn't I tell you save up half and I'll buy the other half?
Oh, well, yeah, I just gotta save up half.
Marie keeps making a mess and then I have to clean it up. Like she takes all the, Barbie houses out and then I have to put them all back in.
Then leave those Barbie houses there. What are you doing?
I'm looking for my inventory.
Alright, enjoy.
Dang, love you. I said it first.
Love you more.
Love you too. Where is this?
we need is strength, not just in design, but in the materials we are using. By the mid-20th century, concrete had evolved from being simple mortar, gravel, and sand to extremely strong and durable. Naturally fireproof, high-grade concrete with the addition of steel reinforcement is a key ingredient for our modern stadium, and in some cases, almost all we need. Along with concrete, we can use the aforementioned steel, which has a high strength-to-weight ratio. Most steel is iron and carbon, but high-grade steel can have up to 5% other elements like chromium or even silicone, and allows for lightweight structures to be extremely strong. These two combined materials are what makes the modern stadium possible. They are flexible and allow designers to account for snow, wind, sway, crowds. Now, let's finally get rid of that pesky pole. A technique used in bridges, balconies, even Jenga is the rigid structural element called the cantilever, which is essentially an anchor at the end of a strong beam which successfully counteracts the weight of the structural load and allows for a platform or structure to hang freely and securely. The technique was actually invented in the 1860s and first used in bridges. Maybe the most famous and iconic use of a cantilever is at Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water home. It uses tension steel and a concrete anchor to pull off its stunning balconies and overlooks. Because of the combination of reinforced concrete and high-strength steel, in the mid-20th century, engineers could now use the cantilever method for both stadium walls and roofs, eliminating instead of the steel-backed or concrete bleachers in old construction being simply attached or hung from the outer frame of the building, a long beam or weighted structure becomes the counterbalance for the load and allows the seating area to be suspended above the next level. Bye-bye, stupid poles that you have to sit behind. Look at the difference between old Yankee Stadium and new Yankee Stadium. You can see where the counterbalance for this fence is built into the cross-section. Another great side effect is with the cantilever, the counterbalance area becomes the concourse for concessions and bathrooms. You can see early examples of this method being used at Dodger Stadium, Candlestick Park, RFK, and all those hideous concrete dual-use stadiums of the 70s. For the roof, the cantilever also works, allowing it to rise above the seating area with unobstructed views. However, the stadium coverings there are a variety of techniques that can be used, including circular tension rings, concrete shells.
They're teaming. Look at these videos. Come on, let's go! Let's go, Ruby! You're a goal! Let's go, you killed the
like
teammate.
we said earlier, so there you have it. The right combination of strong materials, a 100-year-old technique, and the need to dissuade you from sitting on your couch to watch a game instead of having to sit behind a pole gives you the modern stadium and great seats. It still can't prevent you from sitting next to an Eagles fan, though. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to check out manscaped.com and cop the new improved life-altering lawnmower 3.0 and use my code 5points. Get 20% off your first order and free shipping. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to my next video.
Save up to $2,000 in allowances on select new Volvo models through March 2nd. Visit your local Volvo. Welcome to it.
These kids are teaming!
Look at these.
You're so garbage!
Filled with pride, confidence, and joy. Our preschool is a safe and nurturing place where children...
Shut up, go commit so...
Several years back when the Rays made it to the World Series, they handed out cowbells. That's when you kind of second guess your career. It's just, there's only so much you can do when 30,000 people are all hitting cowbells.
The sounds inside a stadium can be unpredictable. But parked outside every major sports event in a semi-truck full of broadcast TV workers, there's an audio engineer tasked with bringing those sounds into your living room. They're called A1 mixers, and they're hired by the network that's broadcasting the game.
Basically, the easiest way to describe what it is everything you hear at home in the broadcast I'm responsible for, other than commercials.
That means they mix the music, the announcers, interviews, but it also means this.
This kid, I swear! You're so garbage.
This.
kid. PXL ball.
You just went and looked at a World Series game from, 1980, and then you looked at like last year's World Series, it would be painfully obvious.
Double play ball. Ball. 1. Cinch. 2.
Out at second and out at first.
That takes a lot of work. To capture the ambience of the space, they point stereo microphones into the crowd. But we don't want to just be placed among the crowd. We want to hear the sounds of the game itself. And that requires microphones near the action to capture what they call field effects.
So I currently run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I run 10 on-court effects.
If you're sitting in the stands, you might not hear the sound of the net. But for viewers at home, there's a little microphone taped right under the basket. In baseball, the key sounds are clustered around home plate.
You see all the advertising boards, but there's also 2 little Blue Jays logos, and in those logos are parabolic dishes, and that's what I use to capture all the sounds around home plate.
Parabolic microphones use a dish to focus sound waves from far away. For big budget games like the World Series, you can see those mics around home plate too, but the setup becomes much more elaborate. They put wireless mics in the bases. They have handheld parabolics out in foul ball territory, and they wire up the outfield wall.
It is off the wall. Welcome back, Kyle Schwarber with a 2-out double. Unbelievable.
We actually started a couple years ago burying mics in the grass and in the infield, so you can hear like some guys like Matt Scherzer, they really kind of grunt when they release the pitch. And we also put mics on foul balls. Some of them are like a real thunderous kind of cannon sound, like at Fenway Park.
Near the pole. Home run.
It's harder to capture field effects when the players roam around a big field.
You just hope that they're close to your mics. You've got a huge field with 15 guys running on grass.
A handheld parabolic mic can do a better job following the action, and that's long been the standard for NFL games.
And then Fox came along. They put a mic on the umpire, and we were using that to pick up the cadence of the quarterback and the line coming together, and that was huge. The umpire was getting run over a lot. To keep him from getting hurt, they moved his physical position from being in the defensive line to being on the offensive line. Well, that doesn't help me at all. Now he's behind the quarterback.
The next year, the NFL Players Union agreed to let the league put microphones on certain offensive linemen.
Can't wait to see what Travolta brings us.
Depending on who's mixing, it could be way up in the mix. I've been called on that because it's like candy, and I love it.
Trying to make sure everybody's on the same page. First and goal.
Those quarterback audibles are the only times they'll take a mic'd up player live during the game.
I'm sure you've seen the games, basketball games, where we mic up players. We mic up the head coach. Those mics will never be tracked live.
It goes to tape, somebody reviews it, and then it gets played back later.
I think I shot enough threes for today. You can go quite as well as I would like.
But the effects mics can pick up angry players too.
If something's getting heated on screen, I will, I'll kill those mics. I want people to be able to hear. But, I got to be careful.
The A1 is constantly adjusting levels throughout the game, and not just to keep the show family friendly.
A lot of people would have the thought process that you just set up these mics and you just leave them be, and you don't. You can't. You're talking 20,000 people screaming, you got the PA sounds. So if you just leave all these microphones up, you're not going to get anything. So you're chasing the action with the faders on the mixing boards.
The game effects in hockey come from 10 microphones taped inside the glass, and the mixer will fade them up and down to follow the play. They can get those effects to pop even more by tweaking the EQ or equalization.
Most people would know it as like a car stereo. You turn up your highs, your treble, and your bass. Well, in our world, it's a little bit more specific than that. We can dial into actual specific frequencies.
So they'll tend to increase the high frequency EQs and turn down the low frequency. You don't want that rumble. So you want to hear the skate blades. You want to hear the sticks. You want to hear the pucks off glass. You want to hear them off the post.
Fires with a shot.
But all those efforts can be drowned out by the A1's arch nemesis, the PA system in the arena.
If I could find PA people and beat them with a wooden stick sometimes, I would.
NBA is horrific because they run the PA during play,
The PA will bleed into all the mics in the building.
13 goals in their first 2 games tonight.
But the audio team is always there, battling the noise on our behalf.
You should be able to hear the announcers, follow what they're saying. The game should be below that, and you should be able to hear everything that's going on in the game without struggling. It takes a lot of work to do that, if we do it right.
If you're into sports, then you're probably already subscribed to SB Nation's channel. But if not, go check it out.
I didn't
We've got
ask.
tons of fascinating series, including one called Beef History, which is about why all your favorite athletes...
Since everyone seems to think being rich is the end-all be-all goal for happiness, I'm here to help you out. Let's figure out what it is about being rich that is so attractive, and see if we can create a roadmap to getting you there. You're not going to wake up Elon, you're not going to wake up Warren Buffett. The next richest person in the world won't get there by making a social media platform. You aren't Mark Zuckerberg. The reason these men got to where they are today is because they took a path that no one else ventured down. They made really stupid decisions that led to better decisions, that led to them being at the pinnacle of society. Like creating a hot or not for girls at their college. Or just dropping out of college. I wish everyone in the world for financial, physical, and mental health. But just know that only one of these can you be rich in while still feeling completely miserable. I hope that everyone reaches their goals of being rich, just so you can finally see that you missed all the important things along the way. Anyway, here's how to get rich. If you're so smart, why aren't you happy? Why can't you make yourself happy? Is it money? Really? How much would it take for you to be truly happy? Enough to pay rent, enough to go on your vacations and live life on your own terms. Money won't make you completely happy, but it'll take away many, many things that can make you unhappy. For many, alright, yeah, this is probably going to help you out. But for the rest, it won't. And you'll be even more confused than you were before. You'll fall deeper into a hole that is getting deeper faster than you can climb. What happens when you solve all the problems that money caused, and are still left over with unsolved issues? Then what? Then you hyper-focus on these problems, trying to find the roots of them, and you still don't know where it stemmed from. All the money you earned and all the riches you feel so entitled to aren't helping, and you're lost. What do you do then? Your therapist doesn't help you, the pills don't help, the money doesn't help. Then what? For so many people that I'm surrounded by, some very talented people who are some of the smartest people I've ever met, they struggle with the very thing that embodies who they are, that knows of its own existence. Their own version. You're absolutely nothing without two things, physical well-being and mental well-being. These will beat you down to your hands and knees until you have nothing left. There's a lot that people want, and it seems like these two are always the last on the list. These two go hand in hand. Money is just a supplement to both. I think that struggle stems from a lack of purpose. And I'm not talking about everyone that's like, find your purpose. Okay, obviously if it was that easy, this wouldn't be an issue. It's not a long-term thing. It's a day-to-day issue. What's the purpose of getting out of bed? What's my purpose today? Day in and day out, it's the same thing. Over and over and over again. A mundane, static life will slowly drive you into insanity. Becoming rich has its downsides, many of which you won't find until you venture down that path. Having put the entire business, company, even the world on your back can take a toll on you, physically, mentally, and physically. I don't know what you like, I don't know what you're good at, I don't know what you think the world needs or how you're going to improve it, but the one thing that I can tell you for certain that you're going to need to make it big is mental clarity.
Please so.
Slipping into mediocrity and sort of blending in with the rest of the world is terrifying. Failure is scary, and I've never wanted to avoid something so much in my entire life. That's where money comes in. It's a status symbol. You have money, you have everything else, right? It shows you're doing something and you're not a complete failure. So you have to be doing good, right? At least that's what it looks like from the outside, and maybe that's what everyone's chasing.
You know, maybe it really is the glamour, the 61 jet skis I just bought, these few bottles I just opened. Alright, I get it, it's fun, it's cool. But after that, you still feel unsatisfied. It'll change from day to day. Maybe you're unsatisfied with your relationships, or friendships, or business partners. Or maybe you're unsatisfied with the fact that your interior decorator painted the walls cream instead of white. Okay, it could be anything. You're still going to be unsatisfied. You're going to be unsatisfied with something. The people who can make it far, who will make the amount of money that will elevate them to the rich status, will almost always be unsatisfied with where they're at. It's a very lonely feeling, because no one else will truly get your exact situation except for you. It's the most alone you'll ever feel. It's also very comforting, knowing that no one else will understand how to get you out of this spot, so it's all on you.
I shouldn't edit out that way. I should have.
There are certain character traits
less
of successful
aggressive
people
and
that are a double-edged sword.
pop shield.
Not knowing when to quit, persistence, sociopathy, manipulation. You ride a very thin line between an amazing person and an absolute freak. And that's the risk you take. Your entire life is a risk. Everything you do, someone is watching. Everything you say, someone is listening. You mess up, you're the first person to be blamed. The biggest gamble of all is attaching your name to something or someone. Whether or not you come out on top depends on how far you're willing to go. Becoming rich and successful isn't just a mental battle, it's a mental war. How much can you stomach? How far are you willing to go? How much can you take before it's all too much? Can you put yourself in the right spot at the right time with the right people in the right scenario? It's just a lot to handle. You dive in not knowing whether or not you're going to come out on top. And it's that fear that drives you into insanity trying to make everything work. This is why you need to be mentally strong. And that comes with so many underlying and linked conditions that are impossible to generalize to the public. Staying mentally tough is a single-player game. There's cheat codes and buffs and potions that'll help alleviate some of your issues, but not all of them. You have to hope that you can figure out if it's a game that you can actually win. I think that's one of the bad things. Everything into a game. My life is a game of chess. I'm setting things up for weeks, months, years in advance, taking gambles on everything and kind of just hoping it works out. I've always loved the idea that you could figure things out, succeed, and come out on top in the end. Smart people are good at figuring out the truth, but this can hurt you and will get you into problems. Curious people won't quit until they get an answer that satisfies them. You have a point to prove, and you'll do anything to prove it to yourself. But you don't recognize how harmful it can be until you get there, until you look back and see how much it took for you to get to where you're at now. Anyone who is rich or successful has at least once questioned their entire existence, why they're doing what they're doing, what's the point of it all.
That was a
And then
nice shot.
they wake up the next day and keep doing what they're doing until something changes. If it sounds like insanity, it is. You know, many people in the 1% have been publicly ridiculed and shamed for just doing what they think is right. Now, to be fair, most of the hate
No,
comes from
his keeper's
ignorant and
one
overall
HP,
just
Jesus.
ill-informed people who are just attacking others ad hominem, but regardless, it's still there. It's always talking about getting rich. What's the quickest way up? How can I get there? It takes a lot more than what it looks like on the outside. It takes an entire lifetime to blow up overnight. Make sure you read that again. Sure, there are some one-off instances where people just got dumb luck. It happens. But don't be jealous of that. You don't want that to begin with. You kind of have to think backwards. If you want to grow beyond measure, start big. By that I mean, start working for a large company and work your way downwards. You have the experience of working with giants, but now have the authority and potential to create something new, something different, something that you felt was missing. Try to find things that are mainly available to the rich and distribute it downwards. It works pretty well. Cars were seen as things for rich people, until everyone had one. Wealth is what you want. The money you make while you sleep. It gives you freedom. Money is just how we transfer wealth. Money isn't going to solve all of your problems. Money is going to solve your money problems. Chasing money means you're chasing status, and that's why there's a negative connotation to being rich. Prioritizing status means you're trying to climb a ladder, climb the ranks to the top. And yeah, it seems appealing. But the only way your status goes up is to put someone else's down. And making enemies is ultimately going to make everything harder. The only status you should care about is your own as an individual. You want to be seen in a good light, but you shouldn't have to beg for it. If people want to respect you, they will. If they don't, their opinions are irrelevant to you. True status should be a positive sum game, nothing else. If you constantly have to brag about your status, you're a low status person. I hate to break it to you. Everyone has a moral code. You didn't read it in a book, you didn't learn it in school, you live it, you experience it. Having true status or reputation makes everything else you do so much simpler. You don't have to worry about getting backstabbed. You don't have to worry about looking for work. People will come to you, to work with you, because you're you. You see, if you get good enough at one thing, or a handful of things, you're going to be one of the top people, if not the only person, that others will come to when they need help. They won't have another choice. You are the choice. Your genuine curiosity will form a better career than following whatever's going to make you six figures this year. At the end of the day, though, what even is a career? Is it for money? Is it for your happiness? Is it to give you purpose? What you'll find is that the longer you spend alone, the more time you have with your own thoughts and emotions will lead you to finding the things you really want to do. Less external influences, more internal thinking. But I'm not saying you need to completely isolate yourself. I'd actually recommend against it. Observing others, spending time with them, finding out what they want and cross-referencing it with the things you want is one of the best decisions you'll ever make. The world is shifting. It follows trends. Use that to your advantage. Staying local to your environment, to your industry, but seeing the things that everyone else dismisses. It's a mindset. For some reason, it's working in almost everyone's mind that you need to figure out what you're doing by a certain age. And this is just idiotic. There's millions of jobs in the world, yet we're apparently supposed to pick a career based on studying 10 to 15 subjects by the age of 21. Trying to figure out specifically what you want right away is setting you up for failure. Instead, this might help. Find something you enjoy. You don't have to be amazing at it, but just find something that the thought of doesn't make you want to bash your head into a wall. No matter what it is, if you can put it in front of you, someone else will have an interest in it. You'll find that the nicher the idea, the skill, how much easier things will become. If you can sell it, you're golden. Now, I'm not talking about Billy Mays, I'm not talking ShamWow, but sell it by making it your own thing. Everyone else will follow. It's a lot easier to hop on a trend than it is to create that trend. This is why you'll win. You see, they don't have this steel framework that you built from nothing. Sure, they might make a building quicker than you, but in the end, you're the one with the skyscraper. I'm not trying to be that guy that's like, money isn't everything. I get it. Everyone likes to see folk and pretend they don't care about money at all. But really, you know you do. You might not care about the money itself, but you care about the things that it brings you. Wealthy people attract more wealth. It's a compounding effect. If there's one thing you take away from this video, remember compound interest. I'm not going to sit here and preach it to you like a high school economics teacher did, but hear me out. Not just money, but relationships, trust, wealth, your skills. They all benefit from compound interest. Start early, start now, and long term, you will do well. I promise. I swear success isn't as daunting as it seems. It's an internal battle.
Call me a
The problem
clown.
is, no one wants to start the war to begin with. So please, do something today. And don't thank me until you're done. I hope you get your start right now. If you're a naturally curious person who wants to learn problem-solving skills or need to develop confidence in your analytical abilities, I highly suggest you check out Brilliant. Brilliant's math, science, mastery by taking complex concepts and breaking them up into bite-sized understanding.
Where's Keegan's never on? That man hasn't been on in like 17 weeks. That man's literally
life on your own
my grandpa.
Things like code, videos, advertising, and so on. Brilliant has interactive courses on computer science that can be your first steps on your journey to living your life on your own terms. There is an abundance of information out there to learn, but there seems to be a shortage of people who truly dive in headfirst. Brilliant is the perfect place to be. Whether you're learning a brand new subject or just brushing up on old knowledge, they exist to provide you with the best information out there on any topic they cover. They'll help train you to become a math, science, and computer science expert. So head over to brilliant.org for a free trial.
Why do you keep dancing?
First two
I'm literally
to
practicing.
check it out, we'll get 20% off of a premium subscription and will allow you to take every single course that Brilliant has to offer.
Get such
You'll be
a
supporting my
sweat.
channel and your future at the same time.
You know, we're whipping out the controller. We're about to L2 this man. He left? L dance. PM this kid. Imagine losing because you got clapped. Oh, never mind. He didn't leave. Someone else left.
Why do parents love Explore Preschool? We asked them. He loves his friends here. He loves his teachers. When you walk into this building, the kids don't even realize that they're learning something. They're just having fun and learning in the process. They individualize it and apply it to your child so they can learn in their own way. The kids not only...
Hey you! That's right, you sitting there behind your computer or phone screen. Get up off your lazy keister. Get up on those feet, you bum, because today we're going to be finding out what happens when you don't get to sit for a whole week. The infographics office is as fond of reading about medical studies as you are. And when it comes to sitting or standing, it seems scientists can't decide on which will kill you first. So for the sake of our viewers, we decided to put our world-famous science team on the case to figure out just how bad standing can be. As no, it's not just because some of our staff saw a documentary on flamingos and thought to themselves, hey, what would it be like to just stand all day? We're doing real science.
What's happened?
Practice not what's more putting your favorite
How did I kill myself?
and are ready with the best medical insurance on the entire staff on the job. Day one, I was sitting for a week. I read the words over and over again and I was trying to make them sink in. Is this even humanly possible? I guess it's my job to find out. So I how in the world to accomplish this? I went online to find out if there was a world record for standing. I found a site full of records set by average Joes. Things like, and no, I'm not making this up, longest time balancing a table tennis ball on the nose while standing. Longest time to stand straight on someone's shoulders. And my personal favorite, largest group to sing happy birthday while standing on one foot. Apparently, you can just submit your own video proof and set a record. This record can be for literally anything someone has done. By the way, this site appears to be quite popular with Indian people, who submitted like half the records. Way to go, India. You guys are the world record holders for setting world records, I guess. I found another site where world records for standing still were recorded, and incredibly there, one stood perfectly still for an astonishing 35 hours and 22 minutes, stopping only due to an insect bite. There must have been one insect bite. I couldn't find any records for people actually standing, though, just the standing still ones. I definitely don't plan on standing still. I've had my fill of lying under camouflage and trying to be as perfectly still as possible, with bugs and I'll be living my actually going to do this is another thing entirely. The rules are that I have to remain standing at all times, which includes sleep. And no, I can't cheat going from standing to laying down. I have to stay with my feet physically touching the ground the whole time. This is going to be insane, but I figured that the best thing to do will be to keep busy. Day 2. Alright, yesterday was the most exhausting day of my life, and honestly, I'm not sure if I can physically accomplish this entire challenge. My day started out normal enough, I guess. I got up out of bed and kissed sitting down goodbye for 7 days, then hopped in the shower. The girlfriend and I have this game now where I don't tell her what my new challenges are unless they're taking me out of the house, like to live in the woods or something, and instead she has to guess what it is based on my behavior. She's smart as a whip, that one. And the moment that I started eating my breakfast standing up, she guessed that I wasn't allowed to sit. She laughed and then asked me for how long, and her eyes kind of went wide. She said that she doesn't think that 7 days is humanly possible, and I kind of agreed with her. Then she asked how I would feel because of my physical issues due to service-related injuries, and I kind of shrugged it off. Thing is, she's right. Due to some pretty severe bone fractures and general wear and tear on the body, I don't have the stamina I used to, and my back and legs are prone to pretty bad aches and pains. I almost got a medical discharge after fracturing lower back and hip, but after a few weeks of recuperation I showed up at training wearing full kit and determined to prove that I didn't need to be discharged. It practically killed me, but I managed to convince superiors not to push a medical discharge. Maybe now it's clear why I'm so determined with these challenges and why I take them so seriously. I do not make a habit of quitting. So today I found out how hardwired we are to sit. I went throughout my...
The novel coronavirus has a new name, and there's a ton of new misinformation out there. We're going to stay alert and not anxious on this week's Wednesday Checkup. The
The date today is February 18th, 2020. I need you to know that because all the information I'm about to give you is relevant up until this date. Things change really quickly, especially when it comes to new viruses like this. Let's kick it off by talking about the new name of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19. CO from corona, VI from virus, D for disease, 19, because it actually started in December 2019. Actually, it was a World Health Organization that decided to give the novel coronavirus a COVID-19 title, and they worked really hard on this because they wanted to avoid a few really important setbacks. Number one, they didn't want to include the location because it comes with a lot of stereotyping. People were calling this the Chinese coronavirus, the Wuhan coronavirus. That's not what we're calling it. They wanted to avoid implicating any animal because as we've seen with the H1N1 virus, people started referring to it as swine flu, other ones as the bird flu. This has nothing to do with animals. Yes, it started in animal vector, but now it's within humans. There's no need to get animals involved. The International Committee of Taxonomy for Viruses started saying that maybe we should call it SARS-CoV-2, but the WHO was like, no, don't, even though it's somewhat related to SARS, don't put SARS in the title, that's only going to scare people, and I agree with them. COVID-19, that's where I stand, I think that's the best title for it. Now, let's get to the updated number. Currently, we have 73,000 cases of COVID-19 with 1.9 thousand deaths as a result of this virus. Now that being said, there was a huge spike in the numbers of those who were infected as well as deaths last week on Thursday. A lot of people started to panic. They started to think that the virus was worsening in its intensity and its spread, and that was not happening. What changed and why this number went up so drastically from one day to the next was because in the center of where all this is happening, the Hubei province where Wuhan, China is located, they changed their way of identifying who has the virus. They were simply running low on testing kits, so they decided to do something smart. Those who showed clinical symptoms of COVID-19 and were exposed to COVID-19 were diagnosed with it. That's pretty much what I do in my office with the flu. It's called a clinical diagnosis. If you see someone with a cough, shortness of breath, fever, and exposure to the COVID-19 virus, they have it. You don't need to do a kit in that area. This doesn't apply to the rest of the world, but in Hubei province, it makes a lot of sense. So yes, we saw the number drastically go up, but there was no need to panic because we had an explanation. In fact, the New York Times just put out a great article explaining of why we're looking at these numbers all wrong. We should not be looking at these numbers hour by hour, day by day. In fact, there's websites that are dedicated to tracking this and showing you where new cases are popping up. It's almost like they're gamifying the system. We don't need to do that. There's going to be spikes in how we count. There's going to be mistakes in how we count. There's a reason why I'm giving these updated numbers about every week or two. Because otherwise it gets too confusing to track. If the WHO or CDC needs us to be alerted of something, they'll let us know. Otherwise, let those other websites panic. You stay alert, not anxious. There's been a lot of talk about the lethality or death rate when it comes to the COVID-19 virus. Let's talk about what that means. When someone becomes ill with any virus, there's a specific rate of those who have a mild illness, moderate to severe, or a critical one leading to death. When we look at the numbers currently for this COVID-19 virus, what we see is that 81%, which is by far the huge majority, are mild cases. 14% are moderate to severe, meaning that the patient will get a bacterial infection on top of it, a pneumonia, so on. And then 5% are critical cases, where those people can need respiratory support or even lead to death. What does all of that mean? In order to understand the impact that a virus has on a community, we look at a couple of measures. We look at how effective a virus is, meaning how likely is it to spread within the community, as well as its lethality rate. Now, one of the most deadly infections out there is Ebola. It has a 50%, about a 50%, because we've seen variations in this, 50% death. MERS, which is the outbreak that happened in 2012, 30%. SARS, 10%. For this virus, we're seeing around 10% fatality rate. And I wouldn't be surprised if that number goes down as we find more mild cases that we haven't diagnosed yet. Also, to put in perspective, the traditional influenza virus that we see here in the U.S., the seasonal flu, is 1.2%. You've probably also heard on the news that there's been several cruise ships that have been quarantined to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus because someone on board was found to be sick. This is truly happening. There's actually some Americans that were found on some of these cruise ships and were brought back to the United States and have been quarantined. I think this is a great opportunity to talk about the difference between isolation and quarantine. Isolation is what we do in a medical facility, but you could do it technically anywhere, with someone who is already sick. Quarantine is what you do with someone who's either sick or you're not sure if they're sick, and you prevent them from exposing themselves to other people. You can do a quarantine in a cruise ship, in someone's home, in an army base. As long as they're preventing spread of anything that they might have, that's considered a quarantine. Here's some new updates on the COVID-19 virus that I think you should know. Number one, packages. There's many people that have a fear, rightfully so, of opening packages that come from China and the worry that they may be infected with the COVID-19 virus. In looking at the testimony from experts from the NIH, CDC, WHO, it looks like, our suspicion at the moment, is that the virus only survives on surfaces for a few hours, much like the SARS and MERS viruses did as well. They are close cousins of COVID-19. That being said, if you're handling any packages from China, you should be washing your hands right afterwards just to be safe. The CDC did go on record and state that the primary spread of the COVID-19 virus is not through surface contamination, it's through respiratory droplets, so they seem to agree with the experts as well. That's good to know. Two, let's talk treatments. Since this is a virus, we currently have no treatments other than supportive care, like giving people fluids, making sure that they have respiratory support, or if they get a bacterial infection on top, we can give antibiotics. Right now, there are 80 trials trying to figure out which antiviral or antiretroviral therapies would work on COVID-19. In fact, there's a new study that just kicked off in Japan using HIV medications on the virus to see if that works. Look, the huge majority of these are going to fail, but if we find promise even in some of these, that's going to make a big difference in the long run. Three, vaccines. Since you know I'm a big fan of vaccines, and you should be as well, especially the flu vaccine, WHO recently went on record and said the COVID-19 vaccine is in the works and could potentially be completed.
was so much stuff from just being back in the stars.
And this is actually hitting me in the feels. He's going through a lot right now, and I've not even seen one of the videos that he went back and his needs not here, which he also mentioned that
So, let's get right.
You press the cancel button, but you remember it doesn't even work.
I know. It still sort of doesn't work, but for people who weren't playing back in the day, you didn't have it like we had it, trust me. When I said the cancel button didn't work, I meant that. It was like a rare event. What? It worked for someone. The press media came to document paparazzi's following around because of cancel button. But nowadays, it's much more passive. It usually works for me.
I was pulling him. You was pulling me. Yeah. Oh. Let's go.
Damage increase.
Sometimes to win the game, you gotta break things.
But no.
Dude, come on. And to break things, you have to have the right tools.
Never mind. Didn't see that one coming.
When the clan you're in requires you to get 50 crowns for the clan battle chest.
Yes. Clan battles. For you noobs out there. Wow, that's a weird-ass sneeze right there. What I was saying was, for you, people who weren't there back then. Before Clan Wars, we had clan battles where you gained crowns, and that went towards your clan chest. The issue here, though, is that clans started to set requirements on the clan battle attacks. Obviously nowadays this is non-existent because the dang game mode doesn't even exist.
Not enough deck slots.
Yup, just 2 years ago we only had 3. And a YouTuber named Havoc Gaming wouldn't stop complaining about it. Damn, B! Shortly after that we got 5 slots, which was kinda awkward for me because people kept watching the video after it was added, so people would roast the heck out of me in the comments, while others were nice enough to say, "Hey, Havoc, they added what you wanted. We now have 5 deck slots. We can now store 5 decks. We have more than 3. Right, I get it. Calmer tits. I heard it the first time.
When you accidentally place a building too early so the Royal Giant shoots it from across the river.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the bad part about it wasn't fixed until like late 2018.
Reduce his range from 6.5 tiles down to 5 tiles. You're increasing his damage by 60%, but it's going to take him a longer time to actually lock on, and you have much more opportunity to counter him better.
I'm honestly okay with the Royal Giant's massive rework. I find no problem whatsoever dealing with the Royal Giant in 2019.
When you buy a chest and get it for free in a match, I just spent my own money on a chest that I got 1 second later from a free match.
Well, why didn't you check your chest queue? You know, statsforreal.com. There, child. Calm down. We didn't have such fancy technology back in the day. You heard that right? Oh, kind of sad to be honest. We didn't really know when our next deck chest would come out of that sweet queue. Oftentimes, we tried to find the pattern using graphs like this, which by the way was so complicated and annoying. People just gave up. But then in 2017, statsforreal.com gave you the ability to check your chest queue. Finally.
Trying to get your legendaries higher than level 2.
Getting straight to the point, it's easier nowadays. In 2016 and 2017, getting a legendary was still fight worthy, and it felt really, really awesome. 2018, 2019, and soon enough 2020, getting a legendary is easier than ever. It doesn't feel special anymore, you know? Getting one back then versus now? I think you get it.
Bridge spam decks. Who would have thought that just dropping everything on the bridge was pure skill?
The holy grail of all decks. Believe it or not, this strategy was meta for a while. Now,
what did this kid come from?
Annoying, non-skilled deck strategy that never works. I'm sorry if that triggers you, but I felt like bridge spam was just you would drop everything at the bridge, like your P.E.K.K.A, Battle Ram, and Bandit. Then boom. Luckily, the bridge spam strategy was nerfed. In a balance update one day, everything was pretty much nerfed. Thank God.
When they removed 2v2,
at the time I had made this video, 2v2 was not a permanent feature. They kept making it temporary, we had a timer on things, and even at one point, they removed it weeks. Weeks on time. Weeks. Nowadays, though, it's a little weird to think back to the days when this wasn't permanent, because we play it now all the time. It's just really normal. But back in the good old days, it was really rare to see 2v2 pop up.
when your cards are maxed, you get a legendary, but all you get is gold.
This was fixed at the end of 2018. This is when they added start points. Before start points, it felt like there was nothing to grind for, or no reason to open chest at all, because all you would get from chest is gold. Clearly, start points changed everything, because now the game's economy is way more balanced between golds, start points, gems.
When it's finally Epic Sunday and all the cards suck.
Back then you couldn't trade, so the only way to get an epic you wanted was on an Epic Sunday. May not seem like a big deal now because there's always some good epic options in the shop, but it wasn't always as easy as it is right now.
When the crown chest is over,
I really hate the days of not having anything to do after the crown chest. It felt like the game was done. Luckily in the present, we have quests. Trophy Road, the crown chest has been moved to the seasons, and I don't know, man, there's just so much more. There's always something to do.
When typing a plan description, the game thinks you're not playing, so it'll kick you out for inactivity. What the hell?
This was an issue for me back in the day. Luckily, it was fixed, but I have no idea if it was for all devices.
When the season is over and you forgot to get 4K trophies, well, too late. No chest for you this month.
There really used to be a pressure to make that 4K for me, because I knew if I didn't, I wouldn't get any reward. With Trophy Road, though, I'm more relaxed. There's rewards scattered across Trophy Road, and I kind of just finished the season where I want to be. Just back then, it felt like you needed to get that chest.
When you've already linked your account to another device, and you can't do it again.
The days when you couldn't properly play your account because it was already linked to a specific device. This was actually a huge problem for Clash of Clans, Heyday, Boom Beach, and Clash Royale for years. Eventually, it got so out of hand, Supercell ID was introduced, and it made things 10 times easier.
How they only give you one try on a new car challenge before charging you $1 each try.
Technically, yes, this is still a thing, but you gotta keep in mind that back then, Pass Royale wasn't a thing. And if you ask me, if Pass Royale was worth it to retry challenges over and over for $5 a month and still get skins and other cool features, heck yes. It's a far better value. I know it still involves money, but in my opinion, this was a great addition and fix to those problems.
When you finally use the name change, but you misspelled your name.
Yep. If you used your free name change and accidentally spelled your name wrong or didn't like it after a few days, that was it. Too bad. Go home and shut up. Luckily, I think it was probably 2019 or 2018.
Bro, why do you just walk through all my bills?
Over and over, as long as you paid a little bit of gems.
Misspelling confirmed when switching accounts. Let's be honest, you low-key hate when you misspell it and you gotta do it again. They make it a little bit difficult. Tap this, type that. Why can't we just have 2 accounts without dealing with all that?
Like I mentioned previously, having 2 accounts was a huge issue. In fact, as far as the terms of service goes, it was against the rules. But besides that, the process of switching accounts was just so annoying. Like, God.
How expensive the Clash Royale shop is?
Well, technically this is not part of the game, but people always complained on how expensive the Supercell shop was. The shop, though, is now gone. Is that a fix to an issue? Well, kind of. Here's why. By removing it, it's giving them time and giving them a chance to think of better and cheaper ways to give these items to you guys. I don't know how, and I don't know when, and I don't know where, but this was obviously publicly mentioned.
When they promise monthly balance changes.
Yeah, I think it was like 2017 when Supercell promised us that we'd have monthly balance changes. That didn't go so well. It did not happen. Fast forward to 2019, they're back on track. We pretty much get a balance update with every season of Pass Royale.
When you take Havoc serious. I've had a lot of comments recently saying, Havoc, why'd you say that? Why would you do that? Last time I checked, Supercell didn't even like me.
This is also a stupid one I wanted to include, even though it has nothing to do with the game itself, but Supercell, thank you. I roasted the heck out of them for years because I thought they didn't like me. I thought something was wrong with my channel. Maybe I had done something wrong. Luckily, in January of 2018, I was given access to the dev build for Clash Royale, not to mention that they also flew me out to Helsinki, Finland for the launch of Rush Wars. Things are going great, and I want to take back a lot of the negative energy I gave you. So, thank you, Supercell.
When you're close to having a common card to max, but only need one more, 5,000, just request. Bad part is, if you just did, you can't jam a request.
Yeah, this is not an issue. You can jam a request today.
When you missed an emote pack, and now you gotta wait till it gets sent from heaven so you can get them.
You know how bad it was to never find emotes in the shop because they just never used to cycle like that? Well, now in Clash Royale, there's a permanent emote section. This is a direct fix to what I was saying.
Now we haven't got another name change in ages.
The reason why I included this again is because usually Supercell gave us a free name change probably every year or 2. I'm glad that we don't have to wait for them to actually give us a free name change like every year or 2. Instead, you can do it right in your settings.
When Supercell keeps releasing those $20 emote packs.
Nowadays, emotes usually don't cost that much anymore. But guys, I think that should be it for 25 things players used to hate
but was fixed by Supercell. I've been talking for so long, I'm running out of my voice. I don't sound dank anymore, actually. I don't think I can do this anymore. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and let me know about some things that annoyed you in the past that Supercell eventually fixed. Please like, comment, subscribe.
Does your battery deliver extra life or extra power?
Extra life. Extra power. Extra life.
What's going on, guys? Back, and welcome to Clash Royale Mythbusters. Episode 4, of course. Holy cow. Is this gonna be like my hate series where we never stop making episodes? I'm gonna be 80 years old and still testing out myths. Anyways, there's a sweet iTunes and Google Play card hidden inside the video somewhere. Just try and find it first. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into it.
Let's do this.
Man, you can get a legendary from a rare chest. In case you didn't notice, the name for this submission is Community, because a lot of people said this to me, and it's been blowing up the past few months. A legendary from a rare chest? Okay, yes, you can get a legendary from a rare chest. Sounds a bit weird, but it's true. This screenshot floating around is not fake. I confirmed it with Supercell, and they said a legendary has a 1.6% chance of being inside a rare chest. So it's nearly 1 in 100. Whoa, but it's certainly true. All I wanted was some rare cards, and I got a dang legendary. Jeez, gonna go complain to my rich dad. Myth. When the fisherman is in the middle of your side, and you pull a Sparky, it will target the tower instead of the fisherman. Confirmed. Sparky, what are you doing? Why? Because Sparky wasn't going to log on to the tower, but it automatically does it once it's pulled. It completely forgets the fisherman that just pulled it. Now, I'm not sure if this is a mechanic that was meant to be, but...
It's so stupid! I literally get sprayed by both sides! Literally get shot! 66, 66! Why are these two trash cans? Literally, you suck! He's AFK! You're so garbage!
Survives us at or freeze. Myth confirmed. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I'd be busting this card today. No. Feel like something is going on here that isn't right. Does it actually increase the HP, or is it just healing enough to survive?
Does your battery deliver extra life or extra power?
Extra life.
Extra power.
Extra life. Extra life. Life. Extra life.
No need to argue. Versus Coppertop, Duracell Optimum delivers extra life in some devices or extra power in others.
You know you have a choice of providers, and we thank you for choosing us. And we'll sit back.
Heals the cloned one, and it doesn't get destroyed by a zap like a regular clone troop. What? I feel like that wasn't supposed to happen. Right? Drew? Is that supposed to happen? But here's the thing. If you try it without the steps in the myth, it doesn't work. But as soon as you let the battle healer heal, keyword heal, it won't die from a zap. Thank God I don't see a lot of people running clone. Well, actually, now that I confirm the myth, people might actually do this now. It's time to quit the game now. Myth. The tiebreaker in 2v2 needs a minimum of 2 HP difference for it to be considered a win. A 1 HP difference would be a draw. Myth busted. Unfortunately, as real as I thought it was, like I thought I saw someone saying it was real, it doesn't work like that. First off, I want to thank my clanmates for helping me out with this one, especially Fizzle for doing the math and trying so hard for like 40 minutes to get these towers to specific HP. We had both sides at a 1 HP difference. Yeah, that didn't seem to affect the tiebreaker at all. And then I was thinking, what if one side had 1 HP and the other 2 HP? Would that even make a difference? Turns out it makes no difference, like at all. So did we spend a lot of time trying to see if the myth was true? Yes, a lot of time. Maybe too much. Like I hate math and my head was hurting. But I'm glad we got to the bottom of it, and this myth is in fact busted. Myth. Troops can be pushed outside the arena if pushed by a spell. Busted. As cool as it sounds, like, oh, adding that glitch, oh, bro, that's just impossible, okay? Games have invisible barriers that do not allow objects to just float across it, you know? So as hard as you try, you won't be able to get a card across its barriers, unless, hold on there, unless the arena has no space. A while back, there used to be a glitch where you can spawn a building outside the arena if the arena didn't have enough space left to spawn anything. So yeah, you can't push something through the barriers, but something can spawn outside of it if it's forced to. Because if the arena is full and you're supposed to drop it in front of the tower, where else are you gonna drop it, you know? Put that thing outside. Don't affect the game at all, you know? So, actually, that might be a problem. Myth. Pressing a collection battle and another button at the same time, followed by pressing a battle, will freeze your game on the forever searching for an opponent's screen. Myth confirmed. Yup. Apparently a lot of things freeze up your game. It's a bit weird, but hey, it's just a game, you know? If you figure out a pattern of buttons that will freeze the game, congratulations. You found a way to break the most ridiculous tool. Luckily, though, all you have to do is close your game and reopen. Kaboom, you're back. Myth. When you place any card in the arena, it spawns. Whoa! I don't know what I expected, but the card being dropped right where you place it was mind-blowing. I guess this is, confirmed or whatever. Thought I'd be busting more myths today. Myth. Every time you look at the same replay, the shield of the Dark Prince or guards will be in a different place. Confirmed or whatever. Thought I'd be busting more myths today. Myth. Every time you look at the same replay, the shield of the Dark Prince or guards will be in a different place. Confirmed. Like we said in the past, weird things happen in replays. I guess I can say that in every episode, but I'm fine with that. And apparently the game forgetting where the shield even hit the ground is one of those things. This is also one of the myths that's been constantly being sent to me, so yes, here's your answer. Finally, myth. Before released, the battle healer can fly over rivers. It was shown in the Clash Royale YouTube channel.
Also, a new type of troop is hovering troop. It's not quite air, not quite ground.
She can cross the river. Of course, she has wings, why not? She just floats right across the river, but ground troops can still attack.
That's confirmed. If you watched the update video for the battle healer, you may have noticed that she was a bit different. She was supposed to be in a new category called hovering, so she wasn't air or ground, just hovering, floating, you know? Which would allow her to cross the river whenever she wanted to, but also not be able to attack air. Kind of like in the middle of air and ground. I mean, yes, she can heal air, but she can't attack air. This was later removed though, and she became a regular ground troop. So the myth is certainly true. Myth. If you use a Valkyrie against a level 12 skeletons, the 3 skeletons would win. busted. He didn't really specify what level of Valkyrie, but I still wanted to try because it did sound interesting. It's not every day you see a Valkyrie get taken out by some skeletons, you know? So I gave it a try with a level 3 Valkyrie, which, as we all know, is basically level 1, and it did not. A level 3 Valkyrie took out those max skeletons like it was just another normal day. Even max skeletons can't beat a new Valkyrie. So unfortunate. So guys, I think that should be it for Clash Royale Busters episode 4. Remember to comment down your own myths to keep this series going down in the comment section below. Your comments help out a ton, trust me. I'd go after every episode, looking at the comments, seeing ideas for the next episode. That's how these episodes work. It's community inspired. That's why the name is after the myth, you know? Also, yes, this video did in fact have 2 cards floating around. I can only supply US cards though, so yeah, sorry. It's obviously because I can't purchase gift cards from any country because of the US. It's not that easy for me. But let me know if you want to keep seeing this sort of random gift cards and videos for you US people. I know you have to be quick to get them, but it's sort of like a fun incentive I thought I'd do, so yeah. Really do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. Have a gaming out. Peace.
Most people like to know how fast their car goes from 0 to 60. Wouldn't you prefer to know how fast it goes from 60 to 0? The 2020 Volkswagen Tiguan with 6 stability-enhancing features that can help you slow down in an emergency. Come in now to your Volkswagen dealer and lease the sophisticated and capable 2020...
What's going on, guys? We're back in the video. Today we're going to talk about 25 things players hate in Clash Royale Part 10. Yes, we are finally at Part 10, and I thought I'd do something a little more. So this time, we're going to be combining all 10 episodes in one video. The first 25 are new, and the other 225 are going to be from previous episodes. Yes, it is 250 things we hate in Clash Royale. I tried my best to edit all of them, so no, I didn't just copy and paste them together. It's much more than that. I worked on it for a few days, so hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, let's get right into it. Number 1. When you waste a laser trying to kill the referee. Ever since the touchdown update came out, everyone wants to do it, but my advice is learn how to do it because not everything works, so yeah. Number 2. The cost amount letters always being white. Who the hell in Supercell thought it was a good idea to remove the red letters and make it white 24/7? It's so annoying, like there's a legendary in the shop, you think you can buy it, but nope. You can't. It's just a prank, bro. Number 3. When there's a new event and no free entry. The most recent update brought a lot of weird things. We got a mirror challenge and there was no one free entry like we usually get. What was that all about, huh? Number 4. Paying for a touchdown event only to see your opponent give up halfway. For some reason, most of the touchdown events have been 100 gems, which is a little expensive. And when your opponent, on the other hand, just doesn't care, like, really, man? We paid 100 gems, like you did too. So why aren't you taking it serious? Number 5. Achievements being removed. In the next update, we can say bye to this screen. But I mean, why remove it? Achievements are hard and permanent, and quests are just temporary challenges. I really don't get why they have to. I don't know, I guess we'll never know. Number 6. When you get a boring quest, there's nothing more lame than getting a quest you don't want. I mean, yeah, you can exit out, but what if you already did? Too bad. Number 7. When you have a car going to the touchdown line, but for some reason it changes its path. Why'd you change your mind? I mean, troops are sometimes complicated. Number 8. Not being able to buy one card anymore. I like the new shop, but not being able to buy just one card is something they should have never removed. It's like, maybe they should have at least gave us the option to Do you want to pack or do you want to buy just one? But no, you don't get any option. It's just, it is what it is. Number 9. When members only get 1 crown to get the clan chest. If you're a leader or a co-leader, your job is to maintain the clan. Make sure everyone is active, you know? But have you ever had clan members that just attack once because they're lazy and just want a chest? I have, and it didn't end very well for them. Number 10. The free chest being removed. Well, it's still in the game, you can still get them through quest, so it's not that big of a deal. But still, you can't get them as much as you could before. They should have kept the free chest slots somewhere else instead of completely removing them. Number 11. When you're trying to save the clan chest and accidentally record, maybe you were going to record it for YouTube or to show someone far away, but then you click on it without the intention to. Come on. Number 12. When you have no friends online. Sometimes you just want to 2v2 with someone you know, but what if there's no one on? No friends, clanmates, guess I'm all alone on this one. Number 13. When your touchdown partner isn't paying attention and a troop gets by. In touchdown, you both need to pay attention, so I guess it's your fault as well. But still, if one isn't, you always expect the other to be paying attention, and when you both aren't, what's the point anymore, right? Number 14. When you have no more quests to do. Sometimes, if you somehow manage to complete them all and you've already used your retrack, X button, I don't know what it's called, but yeah, then you won't have any quest. Plain and simple. There's nothing to do, so just get off the game. Number 15. The fact that we will never get to see the screen again. Anybody remember that? I mean, of course you do, unless you started playing them last week. Not a big deal, but rest in peace. You'll be missed, buddy. Number 16. When you're completing a quest for a chest you don't want. Something about getting points for something you don't even want is a bit frustrating. Too bad you can't X out a chest because I would have done it a long time ago. Number 17. The King's Cup Challenge. Remember this challenge like last week? Well, the decks were created by YouTubers. Yes, YouTubers. I mean, come on. We're normal people, not professional players. Yeah, so they had help from a professional player, but do we really know that? Some of those decks were so bad, and I don't know, after my second try, I didn't even want to do the challenge anymore.
At Explore Preschool, our students aren't just happy, they're ready for what comes next.
This curriculum really prepares the students very well for the next stage. He has taken off from not even being able to write his name to writing his name in sentences.
He's prepared and he's learning everything that he needs to know. He's meeting his milestones and the teachers are nurturing his development here, and we love it. Schedule a tour today at exploretoday.com.
Number 18. When they announce a game mode but never say a date for it. Remember Gold Rush and all that? Well, where is it? I don't see it in the game. I must be blind or something. Well, I mean, if you're watching this and you already have it, then this video was already being made in October and it'll be uploaded the first week of November. So, yeah, these take a while. And if I say something and it has already changed, then my bad. Number 19. When you get bored of all the quests, like you've played all of them and know what's coming next, then it just gets boring. This happens to me and probably all of you as well. Every few days I see the same quest over and over. Number 20. When the game logs you out when typing a new clan description. For some odd reason, when typing a clan description, the game thinks you're not playing, so it'll kick you out for inactivity. What the hell? I need time to write a description. Like, it takes time. It's a paragraph. So, like, why kick me out, you know? Number 21. When you've been in a clan for ages, always donate, get really high grounds for the clan chest, but you've never got promoted. Why the hell am I a member? Like, come on, people. I've done this, and that, and I still don't have elder or co-leader Jeez. What do you want me to do? Pay a fee or something? Number 22. When you have like 40 co-leaders and they just keep sending mails, the most annoying thing is getting useless clan bells. Like, this is why my whole entire clan doesn't have co. Some people like to promote everyone, but co-leaders should be earned, not given away so everybody can send mails about who they hooked up with or something. I don't know, it's kind of annoying. Number 23. When you whip out your phone to play some good old Clash Royale, but you forget that the police are in. Since episode 1 of the series in February 2017, I've expanded to more topics, like 25 things we love, 25 things we've all done, 15... We didn't have such fancy technology back chess queue. Get it for free. I'm honestly okay. Get it for free in a match. I just spent my own money on a chess that I got 1 second later from a free match. Well, why didn't you check your chess queue? Statsreal.com. There they...
What are your Charlotte Dynasty? I swear that was Shiloh. That's no cap.
So that's me. That's my best friend, and that's our favorite teacher. Let me explain why that's important. You see, Ellie has been my best friend since 5th grade. A large contributor to the success of our friendship has been the fact that we've been in the same class for almost every year since 5th grade. And I think that we've had some great teachers, but we both did have our 6th grade teachers who definitely the best. The three of us are basically still homies, but we haven't seen each other in 3 years since high school started. So today we decided to change that and surprise her at her new school. First, we stopped by Fry's to grab a couple things.
taking a look at 13 rarest things you can
Hi, boys.
possibly ever achieve or see in Clash Royale. You might remember this title from somewhere, and yes, that was my video, except that one was uploaded over a year ago and only had 7 instead of 15 like today. So this video will have some old and some new. The game has changed a bit, and I wanted to show some more cool things that you could probably challenge yourself to do. Now, they are hard, and you would probably spend years trying to complete one of these, but I don't know. Some people like challenge, so be my guest. But without further ado, let's get right into the first one. Number 1. Filling chest slots with all legendary chests. Come on, Havoc. It's possible, right? Of course it is. All you gotta do is wait for 4 of these to pop up after 2,000 ladder matches, and you're good to go. Sounds easy, right? Well, not so fast, buddy. According to the Clash Royale wiki, the legendary chest is the hardest chest to get from ladder. Your chests go through a cycle, and you would have to wait for the cycle to go past 4 of these to make it possible. And there's only 1 in every cycle. Take a look at your profile for a second. If you have about 2,000 wins, or 2,500 wins, around there, same thing. Well, I have bad news for you. If you want to start with this challenge right now, you would have to go through another 2,000 or so ladder wins. And even if you manage to get the first, second, and third after 5 million years, the 4th one will be the most difficult one to get. Why? Well, you only have 1 chest to get silver chest and gold chest and all of that crap. And if you don't have enough chance to constantly jam them open, you're gonna have to be waiting months before you can see the light of that beautiful 4th legendary chest. God damn! Good luck, buddy. Number 2. Battling someone.
This is so stupid.
Of course, I'm not talking about clan members because that one right there is really impossible. But what if you hit that battle button and you suddenly found yourself going against a family member or someone from school? It sounds very weird, right? Well, good news. It can happen to you and everyone else watching this video. Unless you don't know anybody that plays Clash Royale. I've never had this happen to me, and it will be cool to experience it. But then again, what are the chances? Kinda seems impossible, even though it isn't. It just seems like it is. It's just extremely rare, you know? Number 3. Chest giving you cards it wasn't supposed to. Have you ever had an epic chest and it gave you a legendary? Nope. Me neither. I've never even seen it happen, or know someone that it's happened to. That's why it's so rare. Now, technically, there is no way to replicate this. So if you're gonna go out and try this, you can't, there's no way to do it. Like, you can't just try to make it happen. There's no steps to do it. But Clash Royale is just a game, and Supercell is just a team of humans. Or are they?
Oh my god.
Games are bound to make mistakes, and if this ever happens to you, just know you'll be one of the only few people that have seen this happen. Number 4. Reaching the gold cap. Recently, the gold cap was increased from 1 million to 5 million. Holy smokes. And in order to get 5 million, you would either have to be saving it from challenges and battles, or buy it right now for about $1,600. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of gold. Reaching that limit will probably never happen to you, me, or anybody that's watching this video. It can be reached, but honestly, come on. It's easier to just Photoshop 5 million and tell everybody, hey, look, you have 5 million. But actually reaching it is a different. And they come on TV Royale. Since 2016, people have been trying to find ways to do it. There's even tutorials. I mean, of course, they're probably outdated because they're so old. Like, people were making these tutorials back in early 2016, but now it's like, yeah. So those tutorials no longer work. So how do you get there? Well, I don't really know. That's why getting one of your replays on TV Royale is hard. There's so many
well, I take that back. This kid.
Is pretty rare. Number 6.
I didn't know.
Player notifications. Unless you're this notification popping up on your device. You might be wondering, what is that, Havoc? Well, it's kind of obvious. It says it right there what it is. Basically, when you're in the leaderboards, there's not many people playing at the same time. So, sending you a notification encourages you to go It's very hard to be chilling the leaderboards and all of a sudden, hey, someone's looking for a match. I better get on. Most likely I'll never reach top 200, and I don't even want to try because last time I tried pushing, I ended up bringing an iPad. Number 7, maxing a legendary. I don't care what you say or what proof you show me. If you are a free-to-play player, chances of you having a max legendary are nada. Is it possible? Yes, of course it is, but very hard. You see, the reason why I put maxing a legendary on this list is because Supercell doesn't exactly want you to max out your legendaries. Like, that's not the point of the game, reaching the end. Your point of playing is giving you the illusion of progressing and progressing. So yeah, maxing a legendary, I consider that to be a bit rare. Number 8, the biggest tournament chest. This one technically isn't possible anymore, but it was a cool one to share because it was indeed extremely rare. I'm sure you've heard me speaking of it before, and you probably want me to shut up about it, but basically, in the summer of 2016, things were a lot simpler. Tournaments were introduced. We had like 8 options for tournaments instead of like 4 or 5. And the last one cost 250,000 gems. God dang, this is a children's game, not poker. You can see why it was rare, because no one had 250k gems. Like, come on, but that's not the crazy part. The chest is the rare part. The chest contains over 15,000 cards, and in those 15k, it could contain anywhere from 10 to 20 legendaries. This obviously was a crazy part of Clash Royale history, but sadly it didn't last. It was only a game for a few weeks, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a few days, but I could be wrong. So yeah, expensive, rare, and impossible at the moment. Number 9, battling a level 1 legendary region. The world record for the highest level 1 was 4,033 trophies, and the previous record was 4,000. Nobody seems to be able to push that far. How many people make that push? And if they do, a lot of people do before even getting to trophies. It's very rare to find people who have reached the last arena as a level 1. What are the chances of you just battling one? You'll probably never run into. But since this is a rare video, yes, it is possible. Number 10, reaching 0 trophies. Back in the day, it was beneficial to go down to Arena 1 and try and get cards like the Knight or Giant. But one thing for sure is that reaching 0 trophies was one of the hardest things to do. It sounds easy, but all you gotta do is drop trophies, right? Like, what the hell? Well, it's not that simple.
Papa Slur!
The matchmaking system will push up with players that are also trying to push down or drop. So what does that mean? Well, you're gonna be facing people who don't want trophies. And if you add 1 and 1 together, that means you won't gain or lose anything. You'll just stare at each other for 6 entire minutes. Just nothing. This goes on match after match after match, and you will never reach 0 trophies. Yes, it is possible, but you will be trying for days, weeks, or even months. Number 11, going through an entire match including overtime with no damage taken on any side. That's easy, Havoc. All you gotta do is defend your tower and just try off. Well, yeah, that's true, but there's also something called stealth. Most people know. And it's super long. But this one sounds easy, but the chance of an enemy going for 6 minutes of a long and extreme battle, zero damage is very rare. And what are the chances of you happening in ladder? Like, you don't go in ladder planning something out. Okay, we're gonna go in ladder with skills. No, it's a random person. When was the last time you battled someone that didn't have spells and you didn't have spells either? It's one of those things that just needs to be a huge, unfortunate coincidence. But it's actually very rare, more rare than you think. Number 12, negative gems. How exactly do you get negative gems? Well, that's pretty easy nowadays, if you do it on purpose, of course. Or you might get banned before that even happens. So, how do you do it? Spill the beans. Well, I don't know. You see, the reason why people usually get negative gems is for people asking for a refund because they're selling their old box gems with their credit card, or for using a cheap gem website. Cheap gems, get 1,000 for $2, something like that. Negative
Gems basically means you owe them gems. So you can't buy gems, you can't even start tournaments or enter new ones. Like, you don't want to do that to your account. It's not good. So the reason why it's rare is because people avoid it completely or don't want to do it on purpose because it's stupid. And finally, on to number 13, we have troop attack animation following a target. Now this one is more of a graphical thing. You can't really control when this happens. It just happens randomly when it wants to, you know? If you have social media, you've probably seen someone posting something like this. Now it's not as rare as others on this list, which is why it's at the end of the list. But it's really cool, and yes, still rare. It's a pretty nice type, but sadly, like I said, there's no way to do it on purpose. It just happens when it wants to. The game just kind of bugs out, and you'll see it kind of, you know, arrows turn corners. It's really weird, but it's amazing, and it's rare. So guys, I think that should be it for the 13 of the rarest things to do in Clash Royale. Let me know. Chucks.
The savings keep on going. Imagine sitting in a prison cell and contemplating life, and how it will be all over quite soon. You're going to be executed by way of hanging, and no doubt you're wondering how that will go. You hope it'll be quick. It's not so much oblivion that scares you, but the fact that hanging might not go exactly as it should, and you'll spend some seconds or even minutes in agonizing pain. It wouldn't be the first time a man has been left dangling with life still in him. One thing you're not considering at all is the possibility of surviving your execution, never mind surviving 3 attempts at execution. Welcome to the life of John Lee, the criminal they just couldn't kill. Before we get to the momentous moment in history that tainted the image of the British authorities, and before we investigate the theories as to why the job at hand failed, you need to know a bit about hanging in the first place. That way you might better understand how John Lee escaped with his life intact. Prior to the British getting a bit more humane about this method of execution, it was quite brutal, albeit likely a better way to go than past forms of execution such as being burned, boiled, or torn apart at the limbs. Hanging in the old days might have involved climbing onto something and then having your neck put inside a noose. Then the object was taken from one person and they died from strangulation. In the 19th century, scientists aired their views and said dislocating the neck was a more humane way to kill someone than strangulation on a rope. In 1866, the idea was proposed to drop the person from a certain height to ensure this quick snap and ensuing death. This method was called a standard drop. At the time, a scientist named Samuel Houghton said the height of the drop to secure a fast death should be between 4 and 6 feet. That way, there would be no dangling and terrible discomfort. The standard drop was soon seen as backwards due to the fact that it didn't take into account a person's height and weight. In 1872, a new method was introduced that was called the long drop. The person was connected to a noose and stood on a scaffold, which had a trap door. When the door was opened, down fell the body. The authorities had to calculate the proportions of the person's body so that the neck would snap and kill the person quickly, but not drop the person so much that he or she would be decapitated. This can and has happened, and while death is death, losing the head was not something anyone wanted to see. So that's where we were around the time of Mr. John Lee is going to go to the scaffold. On November 15, 1884, he murdered a woman named Emma Ann Whitehead Keyes. This happened in a small village called Babbacombe, which is in Devon in the south of England. Lee was arrested, but always protested that he was innocent of the crime. But there was some evidence to the contrary, including a knife that he had heard during the murder. The woman had been killed with a knife. Prior to her downfall, Keyes had lived alone with her servants and cooks, and Lee had once worked there too. He left that job, joined the Navy, returned from Devon, and was arrested for stealing. After his release from prison, he returned to the manor. It was perhaps a bad move on her part to take him back in. When she was found dead, there had only been one person in the house at the time, and that was Lee. Then there was the cut on his own. Besides that, there wasn't really anything else the police had on him, and in 1884, there was no CSI data. Maybe it wasn't him who had committed the murder, and he certainly thought he'd been falsely convicted. He once said, "The reason I'm so calm is that I trusted the law, who knows I'm innocent." He was sentenced to be hanged at Exeter Prison on the 23rd of February, 1884. On the day of the event, the executioner named James Berry went through the checks. Scaffold, trap door, fine. What could possibly go wrong? All we know is that Lee was taken to the scaffold and his head was fastened to the noose. A white hood was put over his head, and when the signal was given, the trap door didn't open. They tried again, and then
can only imagine what was going through Lee's mind after each time he gritted his teeth and prepared for the great unknown. This was a total embarrassment for anyone involved, and the medical officer said enough is enough. He said he can't hang around any longer after those failures. Lee was unfastened from the noose the last time and was taken back to prison. But what actually went wrong since the entire apparatus had been tested? Well, the executioner wrote about the experience as well as some other 130 plus so-called experiences as an executioner. He admitted in the book that the science didn't always work, and some men died too slowly or lost their heads. But Lee's case was extraordinary. These are two excerpts from that book. 1. On the Saturday, I examined this drop and reported it was much too frail for its purpose, but I worked the lever and found that the doors dropped all right. 2. The noise of the bolt sliding could be plainly heard, but the doors did not fall. I stamped on the drop to shake it loose, and so did some of the warders, but none of our efforts could stir it. We stood like a statue, no sound or sign. Between each attempt, it actually took Lee away. He had the hood removed from his head and was taken to the room. The authorities then tried the trapdoor mechanism again, and it worked fine. He was brought back out, fastened on the noose, hood put over his head, and they tried it again. It didn't work. 3 times in all. By God, thought the authorities, the entire experience was frightening and just a little bit disturbing. Executioner Barry wrote that some people believed there was a possibility of the trapdoor being swung on the ring, but he added that they even cut the door with an axe and a plane, and it still didn't work when it needed to. In the end, he concluded that it was the iron catches that had somehow stuck when Lee's weight was on the trapdoor. It was one of the low points of his career. The British Home Secretary
Stop editing it, you bot.
Saying he would shock the feeling of anyone if a man had twice to pay the pangs of imminent death. Lee ended up serving 22 years behind bars. The thing is, investigations years later show that Lee might not have been the only person in the house that night, and he might have been wrongly convicted. Maybe there really was some divine intervention on his part. What's also a mystery is what happened to Lee after he was released. No one really knows, since he just kind of disappeared. Some rumors suggest he kept his head down and he moved to London, while others say he moved abroad. More recent research suggests that he went over the pond and that his grave's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That research asserts that he had abandoned his wife and 2 kids in England and started a new life in the States. It's possible he was buried there in 1945. Now let's have a look at 2 of some of the very worst punishments that humans have dished out. Choose from the videos The Catherine Wheel, Worst Punishments in the History of Mankind, and Drawing Court, Worst Punishments in the History of Mankind.
I hate controller players. They just spam their ARs and think they're good.
Markets were small neighborhood stores, but today they've become mega stores that sell everything from potatoes to iPods and anything in between. Today's grocery stores are so big you could practically live in one. And that's when one of our staff members got the idea. What if you did, in fact, live in one? Sure, we could have done some research and found out if anyone had attempted to do that, sort of like our episode where a man lives in the airport for 19 years, but we had an even more brilliant idea. Let's put our very own challenge guy on the job and force him, challenge him to live in a grocery store for a full day. Can he do it? Can you actually spend a full day in a grocery store and not get caught? What would you do all day? Where would you sleep? We didn't know the answer to any of these questions, and thus sent your favorite lab rat on the job to find out for us. Hour 0. And someday far in the future, I'll be an old man, probably being taken care of by a soccer. Back before all the
Edit out
and the ice caps melted. On that day, I'll have to look my dear, sweet grandchildren in the eye and say to them, I once spent a full day in a grocery store, trying not to get kicked out. Oh, what a day to look forward
Kid's
to.
garbage!
So in comparison, this challenge should be pretty easy. At least there's no chance of wild bears eating me or anything truly weird. I just have to basically bum a full day inside a grocery store and not get kicked out for trespassing. I feel like somebody in the infographics office was watching the old Dawn of the Dead and thought to themselves, hey, what if you had to live in a mall in the real world? But no, that'd be too easy, so they decided to make it a grocery store instead. Obviously, I'll have to target a store that stays open for 24 hours because I don't really feel like committing an even bigger crime than trespassing, which I imagine is exactly what will happen once employees figure out that I'm not there to shop. Thankfully, there's no shortage of stores in Los Angeles that stay open all night. Although I do foresee problems with remaining undetected during the late night hours, when there's few if any people actually in the store. I'm gonna have to plan this one out carefully. So I first had to scout out stores, and luckily I found a Walmart that's open 24 hours and not too terribly far away. The thing about LA is that there's I think maybe 5 Walmarts in the entire city, and none of them are really in the city itself, but rather on the outskirts. Angelinos don't really like Walmart, and honestly, I can blame them. They're a horrible, soulless corporation that exploits its workers and freeloads on the government by paying wages so low their workers have to apply for government benefits to make up the shortfall. Walmart is literally leeching on the American taxpayer. Also, for some reason, people don't feel the need to dress like human beings when they go to Walmart. There's a reason the term Walmart people exists. Sort of like the term Florida man. Yeah, Walmart is basically the Florida of stores. It's the T-Mobile.
It's his goddamn AR!
Walmart is that it's big enough to hopefully get lost in, or at least stay out of sight for hours on end. However, to help me stay not spotted so easily, I'm going to make sure I routinely change my clothes.
Where's Keegan?
It's an old security infiltration technique.
Hey, Siri.
Scoping out the security in a public location, you want to routinely change your outfit. Even just changing the color of your hat and jacket is enough to
Call
blend in
Keegan.
and keep security from remembering.
Calling
me.
Keegan.
Obviously, I can't pack a bag of clothes, so I'm wearing a reversible wind shirt, black on the outside and red on the inside. I also have a hat I can stuff in a pocket to put on and take off throughout my stay. But to keep my looks fluid, I'm having the girlfriend meet up with me at hour 12 inside the store to bring me a complete outfit change. Figure I can sneak off to the bathroom and change there, no problem. The key here is to continuously change my appearance so I don't become too familiar to any of the staff. For food and drink, I figure I'll just buy something in the store, which presents a big problem. When you're conducting a covert security survey on site, you definitely never want to come in direct contact with the security or the staff on the site. You should be part of the faceless crowd, but here I'm going to have to hit a checkout counter and make close-range face-to-face contact with at least one employee each time. I'll have to be strategic and try to time my meals with shift changes so that I hit a cashier right before he or she leaves their shift. As far as resting, well, I don't know, to be honest. If I can find a nook somewhere, it would definitely not be the first time I had to squeeze into a tight place. But if I had to stay up the entire time, well, also it won't be the first time I had to work for a day straight. All in all, this is shaping up to be a very weird challenge, but I always enjoyed confounding security personnel in order to highlight vulnerabilities when I worked as a consultant. So it might be a bit of fun and a chance to polish off an old skill set. I'll check in at my endpoint. Wish me luck. Hour 22. Alright, I got busted. I couldn't quite make the full 24 hours, and that really bothers me. I got damn close. Let me explain. So I called the Walmart I went to before actually arriving, and pretended to be interested in the job there. That gave me the opportunity to ask about their shifts and get a schedule of when shift changes happen. The first rule of infiltrating the facility is to gather as much intel as possible beforehand, and you'd be surprised just how much people are willing to give you for fun, with shift changes at 0600, 1400, and 2200 hours, or 6 a.m., 2 p.m., and 10 p.m. for you civvies out there. I decided to start my squatting at 5:30 in the morning. That gave me a half an hour to recon the place, which would be my most dangerous phase because I'd be moving around a lot and getting spotted by the entire staff. With only half an hour left in their shift though, the employees were tired, especially since it was an overnight shift, and it's completely believable that someone would wander around for half an hour in a big Walmart. Once the new shift came on, I had a pretty good layout of the store and even identified places I could hide out and not be seen very much by employees. Luckily, Walmarts are pretty massive stores, though boredom was going to be a real big issue. I brought my phone, of course, and even managed to stuff a paperback into my jacket pocket, but I knew it was going to be tough to not be bored to tears. One unexpected perk is that this Walmart had an attached cafeteria of sorts. It was small and served typical cafeteria stuff, burgers, pizza, fries, etc. But it meant that I could avoid the checkouts when I bought food and water, and thus avoid the actual store employees. The people at the registers would often leave the registers to wander around the store, and I did my best to avoid them as much as possible. I spent the first part of my day in electronics, though I quickly had to leave because I realized that was a terrible choice. Electronics is not a section you can linger in without being approached by a staff member asking if they can help you with anything, and I realized it was exposing me way too much. I made my way over to the greeting cards section instead to lay low, and spent an hour and a half reading funny greeting cards. Let's just say, it clearly doesn't take much talent to write greeting cards. At around 11 a.m., I started feeling a bit hungry, so I made my way to the small cafeteria and ordered some food. This was the perfect place to kick back for a while, and I figured as long as I returned and kept ordering stuff, nobody would want to kick me out. So I ate a very long lunch, very slowly. First I got the fries, because fries are awesome, and then a half hour later I got the burger, then a slice of pizza, then some mozzarella sticks, and then about 2 hours later I had to stop or I was going to finish this challenge with an extra 10 pounds of pure lard. It did at least give me a chance to read in peace though. Most people probably figured I was just waiting for someone or something. And like I suspected, as long as I kept ordering stuff sporadically, nobody really cared. right about that time, I had to use the bathroom mighty bad. And let me tell you, there's no place on earth more horrible than a Walmart bathroom. I initially thought that I could easily sneak in half an hour or even an hour in a stall. But no, you cannot spend more than 30 seconds in a filthy Walmart bathroom stall. If Walmart is a soulless husk of a corporation, then its bathrooms are the fetid beating heart of darkness in its shambling corporate corpse. I headed off to the children's section next, and I spotted 2 playhouses that they'd set up for the kids and parents to check out. Perfect, I thought to myself. Once midnight hit, I could easily slip inside one, and it might be a tight fit, but I figured I'd be out of sight of any employee. I hit the games and the puzzles section next, and I gotta admit, it was getting...
With moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's, your plans can change in minutes. Your head wants to do one thing, but your gut says...
Getting extremely tedious to read the box of every single board game just to keep myself semi-entertained. I had to dodge employees a few times though. As a rule, I limited my exposure to any one employee to no more than a few seconds of close contact. If I came close to an employee, I immediately changed locations to as far as possible. Luckily, most employees are pretty much bound to certain areas of the store, so bouncing back and forth between them really limited my exposure. I know for a fact, though, that at least 2 employees gave me a double take. Thanks to my wardrobe changes, I think I threw them off the scent, though. I was getting on to hour 12, though, and had thoroughly exhausted my wardrobe options. Hat on, but backwards, hat off again. Jacket on, jacket turned to black side, jacket off, jacket back on, turned to the red side, jacket off again. I needed fresh threads fast and considered just buying something, but the girlfriend showed up right on time to save the day. Unfortunately, I hadn't specified what to bring me, and on hindsight, I really should have called that a mistake and pre-op. So she brought me a pair of freaking shorts. Not really shorts, but like board shorts that I only wear to the beach, and which happen to have big, bright streaks of neon green on the leg. Pretty much a walking billboard advertisement begging people to look at me, look at me. I love my girlfriend with all my heart and all my might, but she would be terrible in any infiltration or like a heist movie, unless she was the muscle, of course, beating up the security and other crooks. She could be scary in a boxer. At least I had a change of clothes though. Pants, shirt, sweatshirt, throw on top. Not too terrible, though I decided I'd stash my jeans somewhere and change back into them after a few hours because these shorts were like wearing a big flashing neon sign begging people to notice me. You know, the exact opposite of what you want when you're trying to be noticed in public. I let the girlfriend take the old clothes back with her minus the jeans, which I stashed inside a stack of tires in the auto department. Then I wandered the actual grocery section, which was a huge mistake because it just made me hungry again. I have, like, no impulse control, and I had to get out of there before I ended up buying a case of ice cream bars to wolf down somewhere. Luckily, this Walmart had a book section, which was perfect, because if there's any place you're expecting to spend a long time in, it's the book section. Also, I could entertain myself a bit there at least, so I spent a while reading magazines and random books. I wish I could tell you that anything exciting happened during my day, but literally nothing really happened. Walmart employees don't get paid enough to care, I think. And so the few times that someone did a double take, it was as simple as moving to the other side of the store and laying low for a few hours. The electronics department was basically a huge no-go, though, because those employees tend to stay put in a relatively small area, while the areas the other employees move around in are a lot larger. I started getting really tired as night came. I tried not to look at the time as much as I could, though, because nothing makes time move slower than constantly checking the time eyes. It must have been around 8 p.m. and I started getting really fatigued. My day was just so damn boring and uneventful. I knew I couldn't grab a nap in the cafeteria because that's the first place employees would look for homeless people or transients. And nothing screams either more than nodding off for a half an hour or more. I just couldn't risk drawing the attention, and to avoid any legal troubles, the rule of the challenge stated that if I was ever asked to leave, I had to. I guess infographics didn't feel like bailing me out of jail. I mean, not that I wanted to go in the first place. I found a solution to the team problem, though. It was pretty steep, Presley said himself.
How does he just walk through my build?
Closed off early, because I guess there was no need to sell plants and fertilizer for 24 hours. The area was roped off and the lights were off, so it was pretty simple to slip past the rope and find a quiet spot to lay low. I managed to find an area behind piles of garden dirt and fertilizer, and after moving the piles of sacks a bit, I built a nice little walled-off area I could lay down in. I'm not sure when I nodded off, but when I checked the time, it was 1:30 in the morning, and I got awoken by the roar of a floor polisher being turned. The cleaning crew had been working their way across the store and finally made it to the garden center. I stupidly had forgotten about the cleaning crew.
With moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's, your plan plans can change in minutes. Your head wants to do one thing, but your gut says, not today. If your current treatment isn't working, ask your doctor about Entyvio. Entyvio acts specifically in the GI tract to prevent an excess of white blood cells from entering and causing.
And I briefly thought about staying put. If the crew was lazy enough, they probably wouldn't bother to move the bags back into the proper place. But I couldn't chance it. Instead, I kept an eagle eye from behind my barricades and snuck out when the cleaner's back was turned to me. Then it was a whole process of slowly making my way back to the main store, by ducking behind displays and giant pots, and literally anything I could fit behind while the two cleaning people worked the floor. Eventually, I slipped out, but the store was so empty that I knew I couldn't just randomly wander the store anymore. I needed to get to my sanctuary and conduct during the daytime. I had to get to the toy section in the plastic playhouses out on display. I took the long way through the back of the store to avoid being seen as much as possible. Halfway there, I made sure to find a camera blind spot and hide out there for a while. The girlfriend had brought me a reversible sweatshirt, and so I ripped it off and turned it inside out. Then after 5 minutes, I walked out with my brand new look, and I was banking on the fact that no bored security guard would stare at his monitor screen for 5 whole minutes, waiting to see when I would reappear. With new colors on, a tired guard would likely assume I was a different person. Never underestimate the laziness and complacency of security. I finally made it to the toy section, and luckily the aisles were really tall here, and the playhouses were well out of sight of the cameras. I crawled inside a plastic playhouse and shut the window shutters. It was a tight fit, and if I moved around, I'd shake the whole thing, but I was hidden at least. I had to fight not to laugh at the ridiculousness of my situation. Seriously, this is what I get paid to do. I'm meant to stay alert for the final home stretch, but I dozed off inadvertently at some point. I blame the fatty, greasy food I'd had all day. No, it was really bad for me. Definitely losing my edge. I got woken up to a Walmart employee sticking her head inside the toy house and looking very surprised. She asked me what in the world I was doing. Well, I just told her the truth. I am trying to stay in your store for 24 hours straight. Is this some crazy internet thing? She asked. Yes, ma'am. This is definitely some crazy internet thing. This is how ridiculous we've gotten on the internet. That people aren't even all that surprised anymore to discover someone will live in their store for a day straight. I guess I'm definitely part of the problem here. I mean, I've spent over a year now doing crazy challenges for you, the internet. So that was my 24 hours, or 22 rather. I got busted sleeping in a child's playhouse and asked to leave the store. And because I had swapped Mars, it's humanity's next big goal in space, with plans by NASA to put it on surface sometime in the next 2 decades. As part of its preparations for a Mars mission, NASA wanted to find out what the effects of extended exposure to microgravity would do to the human body. In order to explore the issue, NASA paid several people thousands of dollars to lay around in bed for several weeks, studying how their muscles atrophy and weaken from a lack of exercise. Today, NASA is definitely not as inspiring as it was in the Apollo era, but we're still inspired to go ahead and find out what a whole week of being a couch bed potato would do to the human body. So once more, we're putting our finest scientists and engineers on the question. And since we have literally none of those, we're going to go ahead and have our resident lab rat earn his cheddar by laying in bed for a week straight. Day 1. I'm a big fan of NASA and anything space related. I think there's nothing humanity does that's nobler than our quest to understand.
What? How does it
So imagine my excitement when the infographic show told me that they had a challenge for me straight from NASA. I've been forced to live in the wild for 3 days straight, been homeless for another 3 days, moved in with my parents for a whole month. When I heard that this next challenge involved NASA, the possibilities were endless. Would I be going to space camp? Maybe to a real-life rocket launch? Would I get to meet an astronaut? No. I get to lay in bed for 7 days straight. All because somebody over at the office read an article about NASA bed studies and thought, this sounds horrible. Let's get the challenge guy to do it. It was probably terrible. Sometimes in my scripts I force him to pronounce really terrible words, and I think he has it in for me. Check out our lightning plus volcano video, where I forced him to pronounce the name of every major Icelandic volcano. It wasn't, but it's a revenge anyway. Alright, so as usual, let's go over the rules. Rule number 1, no leaving the bed except for bathroom breaks. This does not include a shower, by the way, which means I'm gonna have to resort to the old baby wipe shower from my days in the military. Rule number 2 is I can't move around. I have to replicate the NASA study as closely as possible. I headed on over to nasa.gov and read up on the study. And participants were encouraged to move their upper bodies around, but not their lower bodies. Apparently, astronauts in space mostly use their upper bodies, which kind of makes sense. There's no walking in 0G, and in space, space, you can use your hands for grabbing onto stuff and pushing off, but legs are kind of useless. Unlike the NASA participants, though, I'm doing this challenge alone. I mean, the girlfriend will be around, but she's got her own life, and no way in hell could the infographics pay her enough to lay down for a week straight. I'm pretty sure she would go criminally insane if she wasn't allowed to jog and exercise for 7 days a week.
He's so cute. Look away. My email was Nick.
He's a handsome fella.
Oh my god, bro, this sweat. Plus I get sprayed.
The subjects had other people in the room with them, and I guess that helped.
This guy's just too good. I'm not doing
saw a
that.
photo of two of the participants playing Connect 4 together, with the game on a small table between their beds. I did some research on what happens to your body when you're stuck in bed, and well, it's mostly not good. Back in the 1900s and earlier, doctors prescribed bed rest for everything from like hot and cold and
There's literally no one to play with. Like, I just want to play with someone. I don't care who it is. I'm gonna see if Gosh friends online.
Yeah, you guys can see the deck already below me in the deck slot. I don't know if he's gonna make any adjustments. I told him the only challenge here is to just go ahead and keep the deck the cheapest possible, 2.2 elixir cost. So we're gonna be able to cycle a lot of P.E.K.K.A.s, but how can we defend, especially against like Lava Hound or any air targeting troop? Actually, starting off pretty well here. If this video is a dud, let me know, guys. I figured we just switch it up a little bit. We've done these in the past. We've done these for years now on the channel. But I figured we do like 3 or 4 special guests. Look at that level 14 bat on that left tower, guys. Getting so much damage. The P.E.K.K.A. tanking for that one lonely bat. Taking, so almost half HP, more than half HP off of that left tower. But yeah, guys, let me know what you want to do. If you like this series idea, I have Hobby and I think Sweep coming up later on this week with Sparky and with Mega Knight. Really, really fast cycle decks. I just thought it'd be fun to watch a really high skill player again play these really challenging decks where they're able to really show off their cycle skills. So here we go opposite lane here with the Ice Golem and immediately responding as the opponent with that E-Wiz. So E-Wiz and Ice Wiz in this version of Splash Yard that we're starting off this video in. Log comes down for mini. We'll take 1 hit though, and we're not going to get any damage on the opposite side. So challenging. And of course, his last 2 cards are Heal and Ice Spirit. Of course, 2 more 1 elixir cards to make it a 2.2 P.E.K.K.A. cycle. So now we have the Ice Golem in front of the P.E.K.K.A. here. And let's see what the opponent does. We also go, they have a P.E.K.K.A. as well. The E-Wiz threw me off in this deck. Why do they have E-Wiz? The E-Wiz and P.E.K.K.A. usually pair pretty well together. And hey, Heal comes down. So everything's healed up, and we're going to get that left tower down. Oh my god, dude. All right, way to go. Now can we hold on for dear life here, though? Baby D in the back by the opponent. Double elixir time with the P.E.K.K.A. setting up here on defense, trying to kind of block that right lane. We have a minute left. 40-something seconds left. Can we stop this? That's the question. It's not going to be easy. Nothing's going to be easy with this deck. Here we go. The cycling in the lane. 32, 31, 30 seconds remaining here on the clock. And Graveyard is now down.
Yo, what are you doing, asshole?
Okay, Log comes down. Nice delay on that Log, but look at this push, guys. A P.E.K.K.A. E-Wiz Ice Wiz combo. Double Log, Mirror Log. Nice kite there with the Ice Golem, pulls that P.E.K.K.A. away, and just like that, okay, P.E.K.K.A.'s still alive. It's not over yet, guys. 10 seconds remaining. We have another P.E.K.K.A. in hand. Log comes down as well. The opponent's P.E.K.K.A.'s down. Graveyard's down. 3, 2, 1. Starting the match with a victory. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go into the next one, guys. That was insane. All right, guys, the next match is... It's Ichikas Fortnite, so maybe a comrade of Anamon's site there as well. But anyway, we start out with Ice Spirit. The opponent responds with logs to 2 small spells in the opponent's deck. And what card is that? Fire Spirit, one of the worst win rates inside the entire game. You guys let me know if you have a great idea how to fix Fire Spirits. I love the card, but they just, you know, maybe a more of a radius. Maybe some people are saying they want 4 Fire Spirits on a video days ago. All right, a few weeks ago now. Nice skeleton to stop that from getting a charge off the Star Pekka. And now we're going against what looks like probably a minor.
This kid. Gotta change my crap.
I believe it's
what's
the
tab?
minor prince, kind of a cycle deck.
Tab's like part of my
I think Tesla might be in there. I don't know. You never know what that deck is. Okay, now all bets are in the deck. It's not the one I'm thinking of. Anyway, we go in with the Ice Golem here. Gonna have to do some clever work. We don't need to get Pekka in hand. It's a Pekka cycle deck, Ash. So Pekka's gonna go ahead and finish off that Valkyrie there. Now we go in the left lane. A lot of cycling going on. 3 cards played, all for just 4 elixir. A lot of the Ice Spirit and the Skeletons. And now the Pekka's going to hopefully finish off, yes, that Prince there in the left. Won't march her way over to the tower, though, to get a hit. We do have a small damage advantage. Who knows what the last card in the opponent's deck is? I thought it was minor. I still have the last 2 cards, but maybe it's, I don't know. They already have 2 spells. Who knows? But we will see. I'm guessing it's probably, I don't know, air targeting, maybe? Maybe it's a spell. Anyway, 1 Fire Spirit actually does connect. That was an oops by Stacy.
No!
So Hopper's going to go ahead and meet that Ice Golem there right on the bridge. Ice Golem pushes her back a little bit. Now we have a Prince reloaded. We have Log. We'll make sure Log's can cycle here. One of the things about this deck, too, is we're going to make sure we're cycling as much as humanly possible. I think he took out, actually, the bats here, guys, from the first match, and he added a snowball instead, so he did make an adjustment on the deck. I told him to play whatever you think is best, as long as you're not going over 2 points to this cost. So he's following the rules, but Poison is the last card in the opponent's deck. 35 seconds remaining here on the clock. Log goes down, not going to hit that Ice Spirit, but a double Log will prevent that Prince from getting a charge. Hopefully that Pekka does not finish off that Prince. So now we have a Valkyrie and a Prince coming down, cycling again to another Pekka. So another Pekka's in hand. We're going to go ahead and let that Pekka deal with the Valkyrie while the Ice Golem distracts against that Prince. We miss the Prince with the Log, but we make sure we get that tower damage. And again, damage really neck and neck here with 10 seconds remaining. 9, 8 seconds. Now we have the Skeletons in front, hoping to stop that Prince's charge, and we don't, unfortunately. Does get a charge off against our Pekka. So Pekka does finish off that Eagles, but now he has some trouble. But this is getting to be weird. We have 2 minutes left remaining in this match. 50 seconds before triple elixir time. And the opponent can spell cycle with Log, right? With Log Poison, excuse me. Log Poison, Snowball, triple spell that. And we're going to go, Minnie's going to be aggressive with his logs too. He's going to be mirroring his log, it seems like every time. Now he gets 2 swings against that Valkyrie, does not finish her off though. And now we have no spells in hand. Do we? Ice Golem? Okay, we have... Whenever I think we don't have an answer, I'm like, of course, we're back to Pekka. Come on, dude. Alright, so we have Skeletons, Pekka marching their way across the bridge. And more logs coming down. So Minnie already with 18, 17 seconds left here before triple elixir time. Already understanding this is going to be a spell cycle matchup. So does the opponent. They're cycling naked poisons and snowballs as well. So maybe a Pekka in the back might be the play here. Have like a monster double Pekka push. I don't know, we'll see what he does. Anyway, he's going to go ahead and log again, mirror log again, chipping away again at that tower. Snowball comes down, does not hit the tower on that snowball though. Maybe that will cost him the damage advantage at the end. We'll see.
Hey, what's up, Jared?
You invite me.
Yeah, let me put your party on public.
Oh.
Hold on, let me turn off push to talk.
Do you have a perm?
Do I have a what? Perm? No.
Mhm.
My hair's naturally curly.
Show me. Oh.
My hair's naturally curly. Alright, make your party public.
It is. Will you not just yell on the mic though? Because I have an ear infection.
Yeah. Just invite me. It won't let me join you.
I am inviting you.
Alright.
There's some of your games, because I always have my game.
Alright. Let me do that now.
He won't be on till like 9, he said.
It's literally